We got numbers. Hey, we got numbers.
Welcome to the ClevelandMoto podcast number 466. Light 'em up, boys. I just got a cocktail. Yeah.
I got a cocktail too.
Episode number 466. Well, we haven't been for lack of entertainment the past week.
No.
I gotta say, it's in full swing here in Cleveland. We got people going everywhere. We got bikes being bought. We got bikes being sold. We got events. We got DGR. We're prepping for Mid-Ohio. The shit is just hit the fan in full fucking floral arrangements.
Let's tell the kids about the lineup in the driveway.
Well, yeah. Okay. All right. So, representing the United States tonight, I have the Harley-Davidson Road King Police Edition. Next.
From the UK, Triumph America.
Which is hilarious. Triumph America.
Let's do our introductions at the same time.
And that would be, to my left.
Dan Krapke.
And to his left.
A mystery bike that we'll talk about later from Germany.
From the Fatherland.
From the Fatherland.
Jawohl.
And Sleepy.
And to his immediate left.
Johnny Mac.
And riding tonight.
An American. From South Korea.
Right. By way of South Korea. And to his left.
Pete Hempfling.
Riding.
I rode my Japanese junior fun bike, the Honda Hunter Cub, which I put 225 miles on today.
Nice.
Yeah,
Good
so
job.
I was out all day just putting around.
Just hunter cubbing.
I made it down to Mansfield. I went to Shawshank for the 30th anniversary this year, for anyone not in the know.
For the Mansfield Reformatory.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Just out putting around. Beautiful day.
It is a damn good day. And to his left.
Chris Smith,
And you rode in on?
the Moto Guzzi V7.
Hey, that's Italian.
We're a messed up bike gang.
Absolutely. And behind the bar?
Tom Pennington.
And you're representing?
Tricky question. I'm not quite sure how to
No,
answer
it's
that
PGO.
one.
That's Taiwan.
That's Taiwan.
That's
But
Taiwan.
at the time would have been China.
Well,
so,
yeah, okay, all right.
like I said, a little controversy. I don't
It's
really think I need to get
Taiwan.
into.
That is
It's
Taiwan. That's it. Anybody? Look, we all know. Those of us who are students of history and geography.
Yeah.
That is China.
Yeah.
That is the original China.
That is China.
That's the China original mix.
Yep.
Right. Yeah. So that's pre-communist. So the So yeah, it's quite a lineup out there. I mean, that is a really. I mean, and
Big to small in 6 different countries.
Yeah, 6 different countries, 125 cc's to I don't even know what 103 cubic inch math's out to. It's like 1,800. No, it's way more than
really?
that. 88 cubic inches.
Oh, they're right.
80 cubic inches is 1,340.
Right.
Okay, so 103 cubic inches is
Well, 1,600 cc's is 98.
98.
So
I'm at 1,800-ish. Yeah. Yeah.
So 1.8 liters for those playing the home game, which means you're just about the same size as Johnny Mac's ride this evening.
Yeah, fair enough. Yeah, that seems accurate. Right. I mean, that's very, very diverse spread of motorcycles out there.
Yeah.
It really
completely
is.
unplanned. We just all
Yeah, nobody said I need you to bring something from this country.
Right.
Yeah. Yeah, nobody ever said, who's going to bring something American?
Right.
Yeah.
Usually, if we do make a call out, it's like everybody rides small bikes.
The small bikes rule,
Yeah,
right?
right.
The small bikes rule is usually a pretty solid rule.
So the real question with Pete is, how much fuel did you use for 225 miles?
a little under 2 gallons.
Look at that.
That's pretty
I
good.
computed today that I could ride that thing all the way across the country on about $100 worth of gas.
That's pretty great.
It
Hey,
is.
you think it's crazy?
That really is when you think about it. That's
You
like
call $3.50 a gallon, you could buy roughly 30 gallons, and that's 3,000 miles. That's across the country.
So as you're getting more and more used to this thing, like what is a comfortable speed for a road that like you can top out at and be okay, like comfortable on?
45 to 50. I mean, you can go a little faster than that, but you feel like you're ringing it out a little bit. But,
Yeah.
no, 45 to 50 is like just rolling
Just
along in
happy.
fourth gear, yeah.
Yeah, I didn't do the math, and it is 1,690 cc's.
All right.
So it's
1,700.
1,700.
So just slightly shy of my Honda Civic.
Yeah, pretty fair. Yep, that's exactly right. The it really, I mean, and I.
My ride tonight has 3,500 cc's.
There you go. Yeah. Oh, so you're riding the Triumph Rocket.
Yeah,
Oh, close to yeah. All right. The Rocket 3. I did want to bring up that Tom has been absent for a while.
Yeah.
And the amount of people that heard Tom wasn't going to be there and said, "Great time to bring my bike in for service." This, as a shop owner who is a very, very small shop, because we are three, right? So we're three. It's me, Renee, and Tom. And the fact that this is also the first, about 3 weeks ago, 4 weeks ago, of Cleveland had the official, let's go. It's summer, right?
Snow shovels away.
Right. Yeah. Exactly. You can now take off your Blizzaks.
I mean it this time.
I really. And so Tom had 2 trips back to back, and the funny thing is, I've never operated with such a sense of discipline in my life. Is that every phone call, people must think that we are just the most. So what motorcycle do you want to bring in? Yes. And what year is this motorcycle? Okay. And what exactly is wrong with it? Don't lie. We will find out. And right. And it's just like, no, I don't think so. I hear in your voice that it's more than just a tune-up. I can tell you're not telling me the whole story. Call me back in a month if you still have it.
Dude,
Yeah.
I brought that title into, or the bike in to get, examined or whatever. And you're on the phone with this guy, and you both look frazzled a little bit, and you're on the phone with this guy, and you're like, fine, call 11 other shops. They're going to make you call me back, so just hang on the line.
That's exactly it. I'm like, I know every other shop within a 100-mile radius of Cleveland. We talk.
Yeah.
We all talk. We all talk. And sometimes I will get a phone call from one of my friends' shops 60 miles away. Right. Hey, man, if you get a call from a guy telling you he's got a... We all do talk to each other.
Right.
I'm shocked we don't have some sort of weird, DARPA net going on where we have this, built-in network of just, smash the button and yell. I don't know if you've ever been around auto parts wrecking yards, like breakers yards. They have a system, and it's like a microphone. And an old lady with a cigarette yells into the microphone, "I need a front clip for an 88 Beretta." And then all the guys chime in, "I got one," and it's the parts locator service. Yeah. But it's 1950s technology. I'm shocked we don't have something similar to that. Just a hotline, this guy's going to call you up and he says he just needs an oil change, but that transmission's fucked. Don't let it into your shop.
Yeah, just like an intranet or intranet.
Intranet, exactly.
Intranet, yeah.
Yeah, it is so funny because I have had 2 people that were, what do they call that? Repeat offenders, where they're people I denied last year who have the same bike. And it's just as fucked this year as it was last year. But they're going through, the sun came out, it heated up their rock, and they're going through the list of motorcycle shops. Will somebody please work on my 08 V-Star 250, or whatever? And I'm like, oh, no, we're not going to do that. But it's been weird that the Harley dealer has been sending me so much work I can say no to. I think they've gotten really tight over there. I think they're short on mechanics too. And I think that they're only working on bikes they've sold to people within the past 5 years.
Yeah.
Because I've had guys call me on bikes that are literally 2000. A guy called with a 2019 Street Glide who said Rock and Roll Harley wouldn't work on it. And I'm like,
Are you still making a payment on it? Yes. Okay, we'll come see it.
Bring it in. That's exactly it.
But you know what? We were talking a couple of podcasts ago about it'd be a good idea to maybe start a small shop yourself if you wanted to work on one thing.
Right.
Well, the market's there, but nobody's really doing it.
No.
That tells you how fucking miserable it is to do.
It tells you how few mechanics are out there right now in the wind.
We had somebody answer our "We Need a Mechanic" ad, who, apart from some other things, he said he wanted his starting rate to be $40 an hour. And I have also found out he was a registered sex offender. So we're gonna. He starts tomorrow.
I was gonna say, so you gave him, we'll pay you $50. We're going to start.
You know, $40 an hour, and he's a registered sex offender who has, by the way, he's never been trained as a motorcycle mechanic, but he did build his own CBR 900 stunt bike. And he's a stunter.
Don't you just take stuff off to build that?
Oh, you can.
It doesn't matter because he lost me at, he figures he wants to start at between $40 and $50 an hour. Mm-hmm. And then when I was going through, like, I just Google search people. I mean, I just do the world's cheapest private detective routine, man. I got your phone number, I got your name. It's pretty easy. If your name's not Chris Smith, like Chris Smith, there's a lot of Chris Smiths.
Right.
Especially on that.
What comes up for him? For me?
What's that? Oh, your neighbors came in the other day.
Anything you want.
Yeah. Yeah. Literally, some people came into my shop the other day. A lovely couple came in.
Hungarians?
No, they're not Ungarish. They were just normalish. But their daughter has a Vespa. And they came in because they went to Delzani. And Delzani said, take it to Phil. And so she went to high school. She went to school with Delzani, with Eddie. So she went to school with Ed Delzani. And as soon as I was like, oh, well, you know, our buddy Chris Smith is big friends with Delzani. Oh, you got to go there Tuesday morning at 9 o'clock. You know, the whole thing. Like, they're holding court out there, solving the world's problems. And I said, it's a bunch of white guys standing in a circle? Oh, exactly. And I was like, yeah, you fucking have that. Yeah. But they're really sweet, absolutely sweet human beings. They gave me their name, but it was, you know, anyway. Yeah. But, yeah, super sweet. But they came in, and I was like, oh, they know Delzani, they know Chris Smith, and it was just great. It's cool. And...
Are you still making payments on that?
Only 71 more months.
Oh, I have not had a credit app get approved in the past 3 weeks.
Really?
If you want to know what's happening in America right now, I didn't even know there was a thing called Tier 8 credit. I've been doing this for a long time. And I didn't know there was Tier 8 credit.
What does that mean?
Oh, it does not mean good things for you.
It means you have to put the entire amount of the purchase price of the bike down, and they're going to charge you $285 a month for 72 months.
For the freight. It is not good. If we get your thing back, if you fill out a credit app and it comes back Tier 8 credit, I'm like, just say denied.
Right.
Just fucking say denied.
So you're saying there's a chance.
Right. The Tier 8 credit, I've never seen a Tier 8 come in at less than 21.99%.
On an auto loan or
Motorcycle loan. Yeah, motorcycle loan.
Same thing.
Yeah.
Ooh, that's hard.
Well, that's better than I'm getting charged on my overdue credit card.
I was going to say, you might as well put it on the credit card at that point.
Yeah. Whoa, yeah.
At least you get the airline miles.
I don't think these people have credit cards.
I think the problem is they did.
Right. They did they did while COVID was going on. Yeah, they were good at that, but now they don't. So yeah, but that's happening. So let's do the DGR first. Let's just get DGR out of the way. Holy shit.
That was crazy.
Yeah, well, I'm just going to let you guys know we had 150 spots that I said I'm going to limit our DGR attendance to 150 registrants.
Right.
And then like 2 weeks before DGR, we had 137, 140, and then like 2 days later it closed out. We weren't being particularly secretive about our start location. And anybody who's ever done it with us before knows exactly where we're going to be.
Right.
That was fine. So in your video, thank God you shot video because I did not appoint an official counter.
Yeah.
But your video is perfect.
Yeah, I tried to let everybody be
Prima
shown.
facie proof.
We have evidence there were 212 bikes.
I think there was more than that, man.
Well, I counted 212 on your video, and then you did an edit, and I lost a few.
Yeah.
But I know for a fact there were 212.
Wow.
Now,
There was a long line. I can just tell you, like, to go from the back to the front,
that was not an easy task.
that was blocks of going fast. It was, and my daughter was there, and I wasn't going crazy fast, but she was back there, and she was like, "This is awesome! Look, everybody going by!"
And again, shout out to Skidmark because we filled that place up. Yeah. I mean, we filled up Skidmark. And we did this thing where we're like, okay, everybody kind of meets up at Skidmark at 11, and we're going to roll at 1. You might ask, why did I say we were going to roll at 1? Because the Cleveland Marathon starts at dark 30, and they said that, by a certain number of hours, there's rule. I didn't know this, but there's rules about marathons that say that if you're X number of hours after the start point, your marathon experience is over.
Right.
You've exceeded the time they've given any human being to do the marathon,
Right.
and you are now a pedestrian.
We can't close down the city for 3 days for Macklefresh to complete the marathon.
Yeah, we're going to get to that. And so I talked to the city of Cleveland safety director, who said, Mr. Waters, I assure you that we've done this for 20 some odd years, back to when I was a kid, the Revco Cleveland Marathon. We promise you that at 1 p.m., every road in Cleveland is going to be open again. And we told all the participants that at 1 p.m., get your ass off the street and get onto the sidewalk. You just became a pedestrian. And I went, fantastic. Now, I had a lot of faith in that because that's exactly what we did last year. Last year, we had the exact same weekend, the exact same. DGR went from being an autumn event to being a springtime event. And it just so happens that 2 years in a row, it is conflicted with the Revco or the Cleveland Marathon. Showing my age there. Now, last year we solved
over Rite Aid.
I know, because fuck Rite Aid. So I decided last year to avoid all that by simply going south on 55th Street, going where people aren't, right? We know one thing about bodies. Bodies attract more bodies, right? So you get away from where the bodies are. But this year, my path was right through where the marathon was supposed to used to be.
Right.
Which was where it was supposed to have been.
Right.
But it wasn't. It was in action. Well, so we went down, we left Skidmark, yay! We went down to the pier, yay! We did our sneaky U-turn on the pier, yay! All right-hand turns. We made a right-hand turn.
All past all the pretty Cleveland stuff.
It was cool, man. We got to go downtown. It was fun. And I was like, this is great. We're doing awesome.
Yeah.
The pier, and I went to make my right-hand turn, and I looked up and I was like, nope, shoreway's closed. So I was like, no problem. I'll just run them in front of the Rock Hall. We can all wave at the Rock Hall. We can wave at the Science Center, and it'll be just as sexy. And I know of a couple of sneaky ways down there to get back onto the shoreway. Sneaky way one. Nope. Cop. Hey, cop. What's up? You said at 1 o'clock this shit was supposed to be done. It's 1:21. We didn't leave Skidmark until 1 on the money. So, hey, cop, what's going on? Yeah, man. We're fucked too, man. We're fucked too.
Cop said, go fuck your hat.
No, cop. So the first cop was like, yeah, man. Yeah, we're boned too. Okay, great. So I take the whole group because now we're stretched out, and I spin us into a parking lot that I know doesn't go anywhere. So I spin everybody into a parking lot that I know disappears down into a place where only crack dealers and homosexuals hang out to perform illegal acts that we only dream about. And we go down there in the hole, we come back out, and all the people, like everybody from bike number 112 to 212 sees us coming out of this impossible turn. And they're like, oh boy, here's how it starts. So we snake out of that. I go up to my next hidey hole, my next secret spot. Now there's another spot I know that I can jump on the shore away from. Oh no, it's closed too. Motherfucker. Yell at the guy there. What's going on? He goes, we're not allowed to move until the last person's off the street. Well, that's not the rule. Who the hell came up with that rule? That's not good. Not good for us. So I said, screw it, into the breach, and we went into the flats. There's a rule about our DGRs. We've done the flats before. It's hard. The flats is very confusing, and you never know what's going to happen down there. And because the major thoroughfare that Cleveland uses to go east to west along the shore was closed, the flats was geflacked.
Yeah, there's a lot of people.
You know how many bridges there are that move? That if a ship goes up and down,
That's
you're
right.
stuck for an
We
hour?
could lose any one of 3 moving bridges.
Swinging bridges,
Right.
rotating bridges,
So
raising bridges.
I looked up the hill to get on the bridge, and it was blocked.
Jeff Bridges.
And I looked to the right, and the swing bridge was in its proper position. The swing bridge was where it needed to be. And I went to the swing bridge, and I posted Sean Noel up in the corner to block traffic, and he just, his whole face was like, I'm going to shit my face. He just was spooked. he's never blocked before.
Yeah.
And I said, post up. And he went, poof. And I went, you're a bright orange Vespa.
He's essentially a moving construction company. If we put some
orange helmet.
he should have just put some reflective stripes down the side of that thing, and he'd be fine.
He had an orange helmet, orange riding
I didn't
gear,
even
orange
think about
Vespa.
that.
Yep.
He's a traffic cone.
Traffic cone.
Oh my God. I post him up, and we had one intersection where it was really slow, and we all had to slow down and suck it up. But then once we got across the swing bridge, and I ran us across, I was like, okay, we're going to come up by the projects on the other side. We'll come up by the projects, easy peasy, George and Wheezy. We'll get on the shoreway over there. Fuck no, closed again.
Yeah.
And I was like, man, I'm going to go past a cop. And then I was like, no, maybe not. Maybe not. So we went up to Detroit. We made a right on Detroit. And I was like, okay, we're just going to fucking fight our way down Detroit, I guess.
Yeah.
But I jumped ahead of you.
Yeah.
Down to
To try 40, yeah.
47th,
Right.
which was open.
Yeah. Yeah.
But by the time I looked and came back, you guys are already going
Yeah,
past
because
that
you
thing.
were riding a Janus. Had you been going much faster,
I was ringing it out, baby.
But wait, can we talk about something?
A highly modified Janus.
Smith did have the fucking apropos outfit.
He
It
did.
was
He looked
perfect.
legit.
I have to give you props on that. You
the
got
striped sweater.
Oh, you were
Perfect
Jason
colors.
Momoa in that one
Yeah.
documentary, except it wasn't pink and brown.
No, when we're driving along Detroit, I looked over at the shore at the marginal.
Yeah.
So I looked over at the shoreway, and I saw people that can't make it from their living room to their bathroom. And they were walking in a marathon, and there were people with garden hoses literally spraying them down. These people...
Were they sucking them up with their trunks and spraying
Yeah.
themselves with them too?
Pretty much. These people had no business being allowed to register in a marathon. We got to have some criteria for who's allowed to sign up for a marathon in the future, because these people were nowhere fucking near the end of that marathon.
John, you're letting the team down.
No. You're going to be our next marathon participant, whatever. I got fake knees and shit. I'm way worse off than John is.
If I had 3 days, I could probably do it.
I'm pretty sure John could walk to Akron, but I can't walk to the shop from here. But now, I saw that and I was like, well, that's fucking just golden. But we went into Detroit, the fucking slugged out Battery Park, Detroit, and we just held steady. And it's truly from that point on, we never stopped rolling.
That was good.
And we never stopped rolling. And every time I would look back and I couldn't see, there's one chopper that I was saying, he's my 3/4 guy. And if I can't see that chopper, then I know we're too stretched out. So we got through all of Arrest Me Lakewood, and we were about to enter the Nazi zone of Rocky River. And if you've ever driven down Lake Road in Rocky River, you know you are taking chances. So I was like, we got to get the group together. So I went and did a little diversion because we went through all the rich people's houses.
Yeah.
We went through all the wealthiest people in Cleveland, and I made this little...
Wow, we're waving, and they were very nice.
It was cool.
Props to the rich people.
Yeah, they were cool. Well, no, those were all just their
My
landscapers.
wrist is sore from waving. at
Yeah,
it.
those were all just their landscapers. Those were all the Mexicans that take care of their lawns.
Oh, no.
But I just went through, and I did another circle so I could let the group form up, and I could trap half of the group on the little side street and then have the rest of the group there. And then when I saw my tail, I was like, okay, we're good. Because I didn't want to go across the bridge into Rocky River in 3 groups. I wanted us to have that sense of like one giant thing. You maintain that cohesive structure and don't ever let a car in. Like, don't ever, there is no such thing as I'm going to maintain a sure clear distance ahead in this thing. No, don't, because cars will jump in.
We did end up with an SUV
Yeah.
towards the end, but almost everybody managed to pass them.
Yeah, good.
Yeah, somebody left a little gap and somebody shot the gap.
That's-
I saw that and I was like, oh.
Well,
okay. Maybe.
And Sleepy and we're going to put together a video about group rides, about big
I was
fucking
just
group
thinking,
rides.
you know what else? We got to get somebody to be the sergeant. Like a dude that rides, goes up and down, tells people in the back, tighten it up, get
Right.
something
Yeah.
like that.
Right.
Maybe somebody that has a comm with you, the leader.
Yep.
And you can say, hey, we're coming into traffic, tighten
Yep,
them up.
tighten 'em up.
And they bring the people back up. And
We had some bikes that just weren't fast enough to keep up.
Maybe you
Which
could
is
just
funny
have
because the guy at the
somebody-
lead of the ride was going 31 miles an hour.
You could just
Right.
have a mid
Yeah.
captain.
Mid captain.
Somebody in
Right.
the middle
Yep.
who, even if you guys get separated, this guy's still going to go.
Once we got across that, we had one place that was designated to be a muster spot, a regroup point, and that was Huntington Beach Park.
Right.
And so we're rolling down Lake Road. We're making very good time. And I was checking my watch, and I was like, we're doing better with 212 people than I did alone when I pre-ran it, because we were now busting lights. So we were busting a whole lot of lights, and that was getting us back up on schedule. So when we got to Huntington, I looked at my watch, and we were actually 3 minutes ahead of schedule. So I was like, okay, well, this is good. And then at Huntington, 4 fucking cop cars had 2 cars pulled over. And when I saw 4 cop cars taking up the entire right lane, and we were going to have to go left to center to go around them, I was like, we are not going to go left to center around 4 cop cars just to pull into the most crowded parking lot in Cleveland.
Yeah, it was packed.
And try to do a giant, the world's biggest UE parade of stupid.
Here I am with my swim trunks under my pants.
And so we got one piece of hate mail on that. The one guy was like, I had told my family to be standing by at Huntington Park because it was the regroup point so that they could meet and take pictures of us. So she was standing by with the camera and you just drove past her. And I went, the needs of the many. Okay.
Right.
So we rocked right through that shit. Fucking powered on. We went past my house at 59 minutes. Running the route alone in my pre-run, I went past my house at 1 hour exactly. So we were 1 minute ahead of schedule with 212 bikes. Holy shit. Well, that's pretty good. We literally were beating my 1 bike time. Super cool. When we got to the bar and we fell in on Broadway, motherfuckers were everywhere. Because a lot of people were like, okay, I'm going to go down the alley.
Yeah.
But then some construction guys had their van parked in the alley.
Yeah.
No sidecars are getting past that.
I was wondering what was going to happen to that guy.
So I ran through the bank. I shot through the bank, came out the other side. By the way, I had no clutch from my house to the bar. I was running my 5-speed to become a CVT. So I was just feeding power, and then the clutch would eventually catch up. You know? So it's like, oops, slipper clutch, I guess. So I got those people in, and when we got to the freaking Speak of the Devil, it was like, as soon as I told people, I was like, that's it, guys, the DGR's over. And everybody's like, oh, well, that was remarkably not traumatic. Like, no, it was cool. Nobody crashed. Nobody died.
Yeah.
I feel pretty good about it.
Yeah.
Now have some cocktails and let's do some really dumb shit. So we decided we were going to do a TT. Now that it's over, we can talk about it. I didn't want to talk about it before because what we did was not a good thing to do in the eyes of certain law enforcement, maybe. But we actually ran a real TT. We started at one tavern and we went to another tavern. And they're not close to each other. And we had a secret checkpoint in between. And the secret checkpoint for 3 different classes, those above 750 cc's, those between 300 and 750, and those 300 and under. 3 different classes, 3 different groups.
And you could choose your own like most haste level. Like, you know, you weren't told to go with most haste.
In
but
fact, I told you in my briefing,
right.
I got the big bikes together and I said, all right, get in close. Your secret destination point is Erie View School.
Right.
Go. And motherfuckers stood around like, well, where is it? Good luck.
Yeah.
Off you fuck.
Yeah.
Right? You better ask somebody. Right? And then the middle group, when the middle group got together, the trick worked because the middle group thought that they were going to get a checkpoint destination that was different than the first group. But that would require having a whole different person set up in a whole different spot.
Right.
But if I send the really fast bikes out first, and then I send the slower bikes out, and I just monopolize their time for a little while. And I said, your secret destination is Erie View School. And then they went, oh, shit. Then they knew that they'd been had. But I said, because you're in the middle group, I'm going to give you some secret sauce. The secret sauce is do not take the freeway. Take Lake Road. You'll be there faster. So off they fucked. So I got my small guys together, my 300cc dudes. I got them all together. And I said, all right, now your secret destination is Erie View School. But even better, do not follow your GPS. Go down Lake Road, and when you get past Route 83, start looking on your right for a school. There's one driveway. You can go in that driveway, and that driveway is not technically the entrance to Erie View School, but it will take you all the way to where Merritt is standing to give you the card. You now don't have to go on small streets to get to it. You can just stay right on Route 6. That's your secret sauce. Go. I was shocked at how close the times were. Mm-hmm. My 3 finishers for my big boy class, Manny on the Harley Davidson. Purple Harley Davidson with flames. Big, heavy set dude. Dude showed up long enough in front of the next 2, the guys in second and third place, to have a cocktail. Guy showed up there before Renee showed up there. He was waiting at the bar with a drink and said, "Oh, are you Renee? I'm here."
Yeah.
Okay.
Said she was a little late.
Check me in, right?
Yeah.
So, but then I guess we didn't really, I knew that West 25th Street was under construction. I thought that'd be really fun. And it's fucking bad under construction.
Yeah.
Ryan Foltz got there, and Ryan Foltz was like, "Fuck this shit." And he went on the sidewalk.
Yep.
And he rode the sidewalk the whole way from the freeway to fucking Porco.
But you know what's funny? So Ryan...
And the guy on the Valkyrie followed him.
Oh, yeah. But Ryan, it's funny to hear the progression. He goes, "I knew I shouldn't have done that. That was stupid. I did a lot of dumb things, but I still won." And then today he's hit me up, "Hey, I just found this RC51. I'm like, "Yeah, you got it."
He's been wanting an RC51 for 20 years.
Yeah.
Ryan doesn't need an RC51.
No, he doesn't.
I liked it better when Ryan just wanted a nice, tasty old shovel. Yeah, that was good. But my, everybody, Merritt was like, "These guys are coming in hot."
Yeah.
I rode with the 4th group.
Right.
That group stayed for another drink.
That was the magic of the planning of this event, was I didn't have to hurry. So once we got to Speak of the Devil and I dispatched 3 groups, I was like, "Cocktails?"
Well, to my chagrin, my 305 Super Hawk was designated as part of the middleweight. So I was like, man.
They're not even going to try.
The cutoff was 301. You couldn't have made it 304.2.
We had a whole other cocktail. So we had a whole other cocktail at Speak of the Devil. We went to my house, because it's on the way. We stopped at my house. I traded bikes for one that had a clutch. Well, a 150 scooter.
And it was nice of you to offer me a real bike, too.
I said, "Take anything out of the garage you want." That was it. John said, "No, I'm going to ride this." We got on the freeway at Clegg. Fucking Sean Noel on a 300cc Vespa just fucking dusted us. I'm on a 150 and a full racing tuck with a hula skirt on the back of it, clam or coconut shell bra on the front, whatever. And I'm like just killing it. And John walks me. And John takes me on the 305, and I'm like, whatever. I got 150 cc's. I'm in a massive tuck, and my speedo's indicating 70, which is like 63.
Yeah.
So I'm just, fuck it. I'm just hate fucking John. I'm just like, my eyeballs are burning holes in John's piston. And John all of a sudden went, boom. And I was like, it worked. I tried that shit in the Lake Erie Loop and it didn't work. But it worked this time. John lost power. And I cleared the lane. So when I saw him losing power, he got one lane on his own, but they were coming up fast. I threw myself in front of an SUV. I got yelled at, a finger wave. But then he was doing somehow or another. He never.
Yeah, I was indicated 85. Who knows what that actually?
Yeah, you were moving. Yeah.
And I was doing the old feather it like, more throttle is not more horsepower. I backed off of it. And I was kind of like.
By the way, that's called risk-controlled air fuel mixture.
Yeah, I was doing that, and I'm like, okay, 85 right here. Let's just hold this. Now, and all of a sudden,
I have to clarify. That John is riding a 60s Honda Superhawk.
Yes, he was.
And his back tire is a front tire.
They're both the same.
From the 60s.
And it's a ribbed, for her pleasure, Speedline front tire on the back of his bike.
Goes in a straight line so well.
So well. And John is a lot of guy.
Yeah, he is.
In a fucking polyester blue suit. And this looks amazing from the back. It really does look like a blue fucking berry on a toothpick.
That bike is super narrow.
It is.
Super narrow. There's just like a toothpick.
Bike shoved up my ass.
It was so tiny from the back. And I was like, look at him go. And then when he lost power, but here's what I have to tell you. I never was not full throttle. So no matter how much power you lost, I could have never passed you because I was still at 100%. The engine room was giving me all it had. The wind, the gravity, it was all against me.
I backed out of it and then grabbed the clutch, waited a little bit, gave it a little fluff, and it didn't die. It went idle, and whoa. Yeah. And then I came back on it, and I tried it 55, took it up to 60, and I'm like, I'll take 60.
Well, it went from the smell of old motor, the smell being in the back seat. It went from the smell of old motor to the smell of raw gas. Yeah. So the motor clearly stopped burning efficiently.
Something happened. Yeah, maybe my points gave out. Or I just put fuel lines and fuel filters on, and sometimes adding fuel filters.
Could have been starvation. Yeah,
it did something, but I was like,
oh, it got slow real fast.
Yeah. How was it after that, though?
Yeah, I mean, I made it home, but I'm not going to try that anymore.
No.
She's old.
It's an old bike.
She doesn't need that.
And our mix of bikes at DGR, God bless us flying in the face of the rules. Our mix of bikes at DGR was straight up. We had some antique stuff out there, but then we also had bikes that we had the Ducati guy showed up on the straight up V4 brand new straight in full leathers, but then he put a suit coat on top of his racing leathers.
Yeah, I saw that.
Yeah, it was pretty rad. It was pretty cool. Him and his girls showed up on sport bikes. Yep. We had a complete diverse group. It was fun. It was a lot of fun. Yeah. And it was a good DGR, and I was very happy for it. So it was cool. And as far as the whole thing goes, nobody got hurt. And even in the bullshit TT, we had clearly defined winners. And then I found out that we have these friends. Warren Provencal rides a vintage Vespa with a mod target on the front of it. And he comes to all of our events. He's a hardcore motherfucker.
He's a good dude.
And he's also a great dude. And when I was calling it out, and the guy that was on the Hunter Cub that I gave the second place trophy to, because Greg Castillo dominated it. Greg Castillo just straight up dominated that class. So there was quite a gap. And apparently, Hunter Cub guy thought he had it. But what we didn't know was that Warren was 2 up on a 60s Vespa. Oh, wow, right? Like a VBB. He was 2 up on a VBB, did not ever go on the freeway at all, went Lake Road the entire way to Porco, fought his way through Lakewood and everything back with the whole deal. And he did actually beat the guy on the Hunter Cub. We didn't know that at the time. Awards were given. Warren came up later, clarified the issue. I checked the results, and he was right, but I didn't decide to go back. And because he's a fucking mensch, he's like, it's okay. It's fine. I just do it for the fun.
Right.
But he was 2 up on a VBB, and he beat them. That's fucking cool. It's fun.
He's always got the coolest glasses, too.
He's a cool dude. Yeah. He's just a fucking cool guy. But him and his wife were 2 up on that bike. That's so cool.
That was her bike.
That's true. That is true. Here's what I am shocked that we pulled off a TT and nobody got arrested or hurt or whatever. But we did lose some bikes. So a couple of bikes spent the week at Porco.
Yeah, the Triumph Chopper. I was following behind it, and I was actually kind of happy because I wasn't following behind Bruce and his 2-stroke, and I was like, "Oh, there's no 2-stroke scooters or anything in front of me." And then a 2-stroke started to happen.
Well, that 4-stroke became a 2-stroke.
Yeah, it started smoking,
and then it became a 1-stroke,
and then it went from blub, 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 to and then he pulled to the side.
Yeah, we had some overnights.
Was it Dan?
I don't know.
No.
The white chopper?
No.
Okay, good.
Sort of a rat rod Triumph.
And then there was another Triumph that that ended up at the Porco parking lot. And then it spent a few nights there. And then a CB550 Cafe Racer spent a few nights at Porco's parking lot as well. And that one was an interesting one. A guy that used to build motorcycles in Cleveland that went away. And his... when people cut the back off the motorcycle business, when they cut the back off the perfectly good motorcycle and they put a little loop on there, and it requires a little bit of welding.
Yeah,
and then they have to weld the shock mounts.
Yeah.
and one of those just.
Well, that's not where you're supposed to cut it.
Guess what?
That's where he cut it.
That's where he cut it, and we all know that ain't how you do it. And so that failed. Both welds failed. Tire ate the rear fender, the rear tire, and when that happens, your rear tire comes to a stop very quickly because it becomes a 480-pound scrub brake, like a go-kart. And that happened to him. And so...
Was it was it the V-twin looking one?
No, it was a CB550K.
Okay.
That was shaved up, shaved up. And but when it showed up, it looked so cool because it was so lowered. And I was like, that's amazing. And then I was like, no, that's broken. And it was fucking broken. You couldn't even push the bitch.
Well, there was a couple guys, like the one kid from Skidmark that has that V-twin cafe racer, like whatever it is, the Yamaha something.
It's awesome.
It is, but did you see him riding it?
Yeah.
I think he was thinking about his choices on some of the stuff.
He'd absolutely made some bad decisions.
Yeah, like the 4-inch too-low clip-ons that made him literally like hold all his weight of his whole body.
His whole body was on his wrists.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Handstand.
Yeah, basically.
Well, it was just a 2-hour push-up.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like the seat was literally 5 inches taller than the handlebars.
By the time we got...
See, I could do that if there's a good tank there. Then
Right.
I could just put my gut on the tank and then
just tangle my arms down.
You just want to mount the bike to ride it.
Okay, we're here. Yeah. Just go full fucking, San Francisco sea lion on it.
Yeah.
The by the time we were done at Porco, my body, my brain had had enough.
I got home. I had to have a recovery.
That was a long day in the sun.
She was like, "Do you think you broke it up?" I'm like, I can't really do anything.
No.
I need to drink a lot of water. And thank you to Anne Marie at Porco splashed me down like 3 waters before I even left there.
Right.
And I only think I had 1 drink there. But for whatever reason,
I didn't need a lot of cocktails, man. My body was spent. We went to the Mexican joint by the shop.
It was almost 90 degrees.
Oh, it was in dead sun, like perfect sun, the perfect day. We went to the Mexican place, me, Renee, and Sean Noel. We go to the Mexican place. We slid into the booth. I ordered my ceremonial giant pitcher of gold margaritas, right? I'd never seen a pitcher of margaritas disappear so slowly. Everybody's like, no, it's okay. I'm Phil. I'm okay. I'm okay. I'm good. That's fine.
Come on more.
Meanwhile, when I was done, I got back to the house, and Merritt was like, well, it was a rollicking success. Everybody at the TT checkpoint thing said how much fun they were having, how cool it was, and that was great. I was like, cool, that's good. Never doing it again. Sean was my apprentice this year.
Oh, nice.
You know what happens to apprentices?
Yeah, he gets promoted.
Yeah, he gets promoted. So we'll have to see what Sean has in store for us next year.
Yeah.
Because I fucking not doing that again. The 12 years is enough. 12 DGRs, perfectly right number to do it on. 13's a lucky number. Sean can have it. That's good.
I had that thing going on when you were wearing your helmet and sunglasses and everything, and probably because I was kind of leaning forward and had to keep my head up, but my scalp was doing that involuntary geek geek geek. Like it kept trying to move my helmet and stuff. I was like, God, I wish it would just stop. I was moving my helmet, but no matter what I did, it was just my scalp kept fighting my helmet. But it was stupid.
I decided I was going to wear. I've got an English flag pudding bowl, like a Davida pudding bowl helmet that's English flag, and I was like, I'll wear that because it's stupid and you can see it from long distances. So in case anybody gets separated, look for the twit with the fucking Union Jack on his head. And I got these Halcyon real English goggles I got years ago. And I was like, I'll put those on. That's great. And I put them on. You know what? English craftsmanship sucks. There's no such thing as English. The fucking elastic in those things lasted one go. I put them on. By the time I got to Skidmark, they were around my neck.
Well, were they like NOS? Were they
Halcyon had that period of time in the Cafe Racer.
Well, I'm just saying, if they're 10 years old.
They were 20 years old.
Yeah, that elastic.
They were fucked.
Yeah.
And so I cut all the elastic out of them. I tied a knot and I put it back on my head, the whole deal. And we just left Skidmark. I get to 9th Street. I throw my head over my shoulder to go see where everybody is. And the fucking goggles came down over my glasses. Couldn't see shit. And I'm like, well, this sucks. So I put them up and I raised them up to the point where they just looked fucking stupid on the top of my head like fucking satellite dishes. And
now you went steampunk.
Totally steampunk. And just fucking did the ride, and I was like, okay, And then I got the brain hurt from the helmet because Davidas are like, oh, it's a Davida helmet. Oh, all right. You know, there's no like.
Supposed to fit tight.
Oh, fuck that thing. Fuck that. And it's like 0 crash rating whatsoever. It's like nothing standards. But it's made in England. Oh.
I have a 4X helmet and it's still snug.
Yeah. Yeah. I was just
Yeah,
fucking.
5X head.
15. I got a 15-gallon head.
All right. So Sleepy.
Yeah. So
Tell me about your new motorcycle. Hmm?
well, I was thinking about this. This whole thing happened so fucking fast.
It did.
So like, literally a week and a half ago, I took my Z900 RS Cafe, which you guys know I love more than anything.
It's fucking scary fast, too.
It was.
Yeah.
It was a good bike, and
The only bike known to have beat a 0.
Totally. Smoked it.
yeah.
Yeah.
No. It took 4 tries.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah. But anyways, yeah.
Yeah.
So
It's okay.
Anyway, where was I?
yeah. So I take it for the ride, and I go out 100 miles, and I'm loving it. I'm like, God, why don't I ride this bike more? Like I
Right.
don't put a lot of miles on it. This is stupid. I'm like, this bike is so nice and so smooth, and that power. It's like, man, you just get so addicted to this whacking the throttle and going through it,
And it looks good.
And it
looks
yeah,
good.
it's the best
Yeah.
looking bike ever, right?
Right.
So then I get about 100 some miles away, and I turn around, and I'm still loving the bike, and then my knee starts going, hey, remember me? And I go, hey, yeah, there's that
Remember all
knee.
those years of bicycling?
So then I start compensating for the knee, trying to make it to stop hurt. So then my hip goes pop. I'm like, fuck. Because it's like, I don't never know what's going on with that. It's a ligament or something, whatever. So now I'm all in pain, and I'm twisting, but I'm still 70 miles from home.
Still looking good.
And the bike still looks good.
That cripple looks fantastic.
Yeah. He thinks he's in a turn constantly.
He's dragging a knee.
Yeah, right.
At 110. Straight as an arrow.
Straight line.
So I finally get home, and then like at the last minute, so when I finally get to like the highway section of my ride, I'm in pain and I just want to get home. And so I find myself going 80 and then I find myself going 90. And then this car cuts me off and I get pissed and they take off. So I chase after them.
Yeah.
And then just to show them a lesson, I go ahead and do like 150 past
Right.
them. Yeah. And then I'm like, what the fuck am I doing?
Right.
Like, I mean, literally, it hit me like, I'm like, am I so immature that I can't control myself on this? And then my brain goes, no, you are that immature.
I'm doing a
Yes.
buck. I'm
Yes.
doing a.
Yes.
And by the way,
Yes.
I'm doing a $150 on a standard.
Yeah.
Not even a Fireblade. Nothing
No.
that's aerodynamically correct.
Well, I mean, it has a good fairing on it.
No.
And a double
no,
bubble screen.
No. It has.
It's kind of like a DeVita around
Yeah.
the headlight.
Yeah, no, but you have to, at that speed, though, you're not sitting up.
Of course you're not.
Laying
Well,
on
no.
the tank and like, yeah.
yeah.
But anyways, so like, I let off the throttle and I came up and like, it started to bother me. I was like, I'm 53 years old and I can't trust myself to control myself on this bike.
Right.
And I am going to become a grease spot.
Yeah.
And especially because I'm not riding it the way I should be because I'm fucking half hanging off of it because my knee is fucking throbbing and
Yeah.
stuff, right? So I get home and my knee is so swollen. It looked like I taped a basketball to my leg. And I'm like, okay. I'm like, this is dumb. Like, like this bike, it's such a nice bike.
Right.
The mileage is so low. Everything's nice about it. I've done every right thing that you can do
Absolutely.
to the bike to it.
Yeah, it's
I'm like, it's not going to get any more value than it has right now.
the bike's at its best.
Right.
And you're at your worst.
Exactly. Yeah.
Time to sell the bike.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, it was a decision. It was a heartfelt decision,
Yeah.
She's too young for you.
So then I start looking at Marketplace, and I put it online for 2 hours, and I pulled it off because it was like that type. And I'm sure you're familiar with this, but that type of bike attracts a particular crowd. Mm-hmm. Every 19 and 18-year-old dude that has like wants to trade. Oh man,
He's already crashed 2 Gixxes.
You take 45, you take
Right.
50,
2
you take,
Xboxes and a Ninja.
yeah, it's all this stuff, and it's like it's all these. It's so
Yeah.
annoying that I was like, I can't do this. I'm like, I can't do this. So I just pulled it down. I was going to try to figure something out. So then I started looking around. And I'm like, well, what do I want to replace this bike with? Because I still want something, whatever. And so I started looking at the BMWs and all these different things. And so the XR1000s were out there, and I was like, man, that's a sexy looking bike. So I was like, ooh, and I saw this guy wanted to trade one. It had about 28,000 miles on it, and he was asking about the same price I was going to be asking for my green bike. So I started thinking about it. So I started looking up all the specs and everything, and then you look up that, and it's like 168 horsepower or something. And I'm like, yeah, no, that's not what that defeats the whole point of what I'm trying to do.
sport bike.
Yeah, basically, well, no, it's still a standard. It's the XR. It's still, yeah.
I'm fully aware of what
But
it
it has
is.
a 1,000 motor, right?
Yeah, right.
So I was like, that's completely defeating.
Right.
I'm being stupid again.
Right.
Don't, like, it's like that little fucker in the back of your head's like, why are you giving the speed up? And you're just like, I don't need it right now, little dude. You know, so you have to beat that. And so I really didn't even know that the F900 exists until all of a sudden I found it. I was like, man, it looks like the same bike. So I do the research. 104 horsepower, pretty respectable, but not like holy shit. You're gonna die every time you get on it, whatever. And most of the reviews, gave us that it handles great. It does all the things I want. It does the twisties really well, but at the same time, in road mode, it's supposed to, just be very smooth and whatever. So I start looking and I find this one, and it's for sale. And I just said, hey, let me just ask. So I think he said something in the ad like looking for something more spicy. I think that was it. And I said, well, I think I got something kind of spicy.
Yeah.
So I sent him a thing. I'm like, hey, would you be interested in this? I was just thinking about selling it. And I'm like, the only reason I'm selling it is because my knee just sucks and I can't ride it anymore. It's kind of depressing, but I love this bike. I take care of my stuff. I've been doing this for a long time, whatever. And he hit back and we talked. We went back and forth a little while and we exchanged more pictures and back, forth and forth. And we said, all right, let's do it. So the only problem was, which I didn't really pay attention to because I have my marketplace set to like 80 to 100 miles. Yeah. He was in like the very bottom of Richmond, Virginia. Oh. So I was like, you know what? I could use
like $4.50 shipping.
Yeah, well, I could use a good road trip, So we went down there. And it was about a 9.5.
Wait. Your trailer.
No, I borrowed Dan's.
Okay. Oh, smart man.
Did you also borrow his car to pull it?
No. So I took the Hyundai, which, dude, that trailer rolls so good, the Hyundai didn't even give a shit.
Yeah.
I got 20 or 28.7 miles per gallon pulling a trailer.
Pulling Dan's trailer.
Yeah.
That's a big aluminum trailer.
I know.
Good for you.
My car got 27 miles to the gallon pulling 2 bikes on a trailer.
See, this is amazing.
It's a hybrid.
But so I mean, like
hybrids pulling trailers.
But it's kind of crazy because, like, at this point, it's been 5 days since I decided to do this. Right. And all of a sudden, like, I'm taking a day off of work, and it's like, but at the same time, you talk to a person a few times, so you get a pretty good feeling, of the guy, And I took a pretty leap of faith. I'm driving 9 hours. I'm hoping I'm not getting there with all of a sudden the picture was taken 17 months ago, and you're like, oh, okay.
Before Nick rented it to go to North Carolina.
Exactly. But so it is something to think about.
Sorry, Nick, that was low hanging fruit.
But it is something to think about, but it ended up it worked, and within 5 minutes when we first got there, both looking at each other like,
oh yeah, absolutely.
Two dogs sniffing around. But he's eyeballing the bike obviously because mine's right there,
right?
And he's instantly like, okay, it's not a hunk of shit,
right?
Well, his bike's in a thing around the corner, so I'm still in the lurch. But at this point, the dude's cool.
Like, I've shown you mine.
Yeah.
I'm not bringing it off the trailer till I see your bike.
Right, exactly.
Honestly, the guy was cool. Like he was just a cool guy.
Yeah.
So we walk over and just everything's exactly like he said. It's exactly the same thing.
That's amazing.
Yeah, and so we ended up, it was perfect. Like, once again,
it's amazing you got there, and we're in a team of guys ready to steal your bike.
Well, I know. I wasn't aware
take your
of that.
wallet.
I'm not a complete idiot. I also, the dude lives in a very nice townhouse.
Right.
Brownstone. Sorry, not
totally Googled him. Yeah.
And so, the dude's cool. It wasn't like I was, hey, meet me next to this thing. It's an abandoned skating ring behind a fucking Burger King.
Meet me by the Dollar General.
Right. Then you're like, okay, maybe let's go to the police station and meet. How about that?
Right.
But this was totally cool. And so, and we did the exchange, and it worked out great. But, I was just thinking, this is the second time now I've done trades with guys. Mm-hmm. And, usually, you can tell through into communications and stuff. But motorcycle guys are pretty much motorcycle guys, And actually, him and his wife met because they're motorcycle enthusiasts.
Oh, really?
So, yeah, she rides. She has a KTM 390, the off-road one, the ATV one. And then he also has a Norden 901. It was a really nice bike.
Cool.
So they do some adventuring and stuff.
Oh, that's neat.
So, and they do a rally, and I'll bring it next week. I left it at home, but they do a big rally down there. He helps promote this rally and stuff. We can talk about that. And the other thing that I thought was pretty cool is that they had never heard of Mid-Ohio. And so I got to tell them about Mid-Ohio. And so they were like, say what? And so I was like, yeah, and then there's this racing, and there's this and that.
Did you show them Dirk?
The whole thing. I sent the links. And so hopefully they said they were thinking about possibly coming up to Mid-Ohio.
They should.
I told them it's going to be something like you've never experienced before.
Yeah.
So.
Good for them.
What was his reaction when he, I assume, took the bike for a test ride, the Z900?
It was awesome. So,
or when he started it up, I mean, it had to be like, oh.
Yeah, it sounded like a Porsche Boxster. It sounds great. So he sat there. Of course, he's smiling. And so we got the two bikes running and said, okay, let's take a little loop around. I'll follow you. And so we left, and I was just kind of feeling things out on this bike, and that bike's it's basic. There's not a lot of, there's a couple modes, but you can get on the Z900 and not look at like a screen or
No, the Z900 is a motorcycle.
It's a motorcycle.
Right. It's just a motorcycle.
Right? So, he probably felt fairly comfortable pretty quick.
Right.
So we went down, he was doing a couple things, but just, little vroom, vroom, vroom.
Yeah.
And then it took about 2 blocks before it was like, so I pull up next to him. I was like, not bad. He goes, spicy.
I like that.
So I was kind of heartbroken. At that point, I was I was like, okay, the BMW is smooth. Like, it's very... Yeah. Like I immediately felt better. My banker called my phone. The whole thing was pretty cool. Like, so
I have set you up a fund.
Yes, exactly.
Yeah, right, exactly.
Right.
So, but and again, so everything worked as it should. Yep. Everything worked as it should. So we loaded up, and then I drove home.
It automatically connected to your Apple AirTags.
Yep, definitely. But can I just say that driving home, man, everything was great up until about Ohio, right at the Ohio line. Yeah. Whatever storms that was going on, it was fucking insane, man.
Greenfield, Iowa, population 2,000, has 1,200 homeless now.
Jeez.
The tornado that went through there, when they filmed the movie Twister, years and years ago, they could not have made it look like Greenfield, Iowa looks right now. The tornado activity that went through when you were on the road.
Well, that's when I was driving, I called Amy on the phone. Mm-hmm. I was like, Amy, can you turn on the news?
Yeah.
She's like, why? I'm like out, so Summit Racing's out in town, which I was way past that, coming from Pittsburgh, right?
Yep.
And so I looked like I was driving into like a mile-wide tornado. Like there was this giant gray thing. So the whole sky was black. There was this giant gray thing. And you could see swirling, but like literally big enough that I'm like, am I driving into like a super tornado right now?
It didn't take long. Yeah. So those folks that were in Greenfield, Iowa, that was like a 5-6 p.m. thing. Yeah. And it shredded wind turbines. It did everything bad you could do. But unfortunately, the worst thing is it just went right up the middle, diagonally through a populated area and scrubbed it clean to the ground.
Yeah,
and they said that was the fastest land speed, not rotational speed, 240 miles an hour, but the fastest land speed, point A to point B, over 85 miles per hour, which is tornadoes don't normally cover ground that fast, but also its debris tower was over 40,000 feet.
Wow.
So it had so much power. And that's why it was so devastating. That's why there were so many fatalities.
Imagine that thing could have sucked you up and taken you to
40,000 feet.
And then dropped you off.
Right. Exactly.
And
what goes up must come down.
Long time. That would be like a long time to be
dying. The
whole
idea is ridiculous. They're finding people's cars and shit that were a half mile away in trees a half mile away. So like, okay, that's fucking weird, right? So yeah, people that where we are, we tangentially know about tornadoes. My wife was born in Tornado Town, Xenia, Ohio, and it's kind of been a thing for us, but not like these guys. That Greenfield that got hit the other day, Mount Air, which is like 2 miles from them, got hit 2 weeks ago. Yeah. So you talk about Tornado Alley.
Yeah. We recorded an event at the plant. We got 2¼ inches in less than an hour.
Oh my God.
I mean, and our flow went from 500,000 to 7.5 million faster. Like it's
there's nothing you can do about that. That's just crazy. But that's going to be the story this year. This year is going to be all the weird, like, boom, boom, like stuff out of nowhere and then blast and then it's gone.
I'm just glad there's no, big earth crisis going on or something that might be.
I wonder what's leading to that. It's probably, I have no idea. I blame Biden. Anyway.
You should probably blame me and my farts.
Right.
But anyway,
methane,
I rode the bike in and then you guys all rode it.
It's fantastic. Oh. I like it. Now I'm going
to the family, Sleepy.
No, the screen on
it's slightly better than the Versys.
Okay. No, basically what I said, it's a Versys plus 30%.
Yeah.
It handles like the Versys. It handles like his Tiger.
Yeah.
All these bikes now feel perfect.
Well, if they look like a porpoise with wheels on them, pretty much probably the same brake angle, the same. I
don't own a screen in my world that's as nice as the screen on your motorcycle.
I know.
That bike is way nicer than the Versys. It's got way more. The power is way more.
Well, you know what?
It's actually more flickable. It's
amazing.
When I first started riding a road, after throwing the Africa Twin that hard through stuff, I almost went off the road. Like it is very, very.
It requires no effort.
You think about going that way and you're going in that direction. But what I found out yesterday is that in that performance power mode or whatever it is, it's like a 2-stroke. You have like 0 to like 5,000 or 6,000 RPMs is the first
pretty
life
docile.
Of that gear. Well, it's still kind of it humps pretty good. but like it'll take a second to go from that part of the RPM range.
Yeah.
Then it hits that 5,000 mark,
and then
from
it's
5
business.
to 9. It's like you're fucking.
It's business.
Ass. Yeah.
I hate it.
The meaty part of the torque curve.
Yeah.
It's funny because it is like it is truly a personality switch. Years and years and years ago, I had this H1, this Kawasaki H1 that I had taken a blown up motor out of that, and we put an H2 motor into it. So it was the H1 500 stature, but it had the H2B 750 two-stroke motor in it. Wow. And I had factory brand expansion chambers on it. I had oversized Mikunis on it. I had fast by gas cylinders in it, pistons. And this was a very fucking sweet bike that was really supposed to be a quarter-mile bike. I did that twice, and I was like, nope, dumb.
Boring.
It's just dumb, right? And I was like, I'm just going to put a historical plate on it, drive it around. And I did, and it was really fun and made all the noises and basically just blew my skirt up, and it was fun. But it had that thing where it was like, it was 2 motorcycles. It was 1 motorcycle up to 5K. And then something insane happened at 5K, and it's more, I've had turbo motorcycles, but that motorcycle just fucking changed its dynamic because 2-stroke, whatever.
Right. Are those reed valve or are they?
So mine was reeds,
piston port?
So mine were reed valves. It started life as a piston port, and in my ownership became reed valve. But
because I'd always thought that with piston port bikes, like
it was
they're sloggy down in the end, but
then they go
when they hit the right
shit.
velocity,
Right.
there's nothing impeding that flow. They just go off the chart.
And that's where reeds balances that out. You know, because you have the reed there acting as a valve, right? Yeah. And with your motorcycle, it does the exact same thing. It says, okay, up to 5,000 RPM, you're just being a normal human.
And then with the different modes, so like if you put it in the road mode, that kind of smooths that hit out.
Yeah.
Makes it just kind of a very, very, like kind of not docile, but like very controlled ride. And kind of smooth for just going through traffic. You're not going to be doing that, kind of lugging and stuff. It's just kind of smooth. But then when you put it into the other stuff, that's where, like, when you're off the throttle, you get all the engine brake.
Right.
You get on it, you get on it. So I think it gets even more, that whole, like, boost in the higher RPM range gets kind of exemplified by that mode. So it's kind of interesting.
I rented a car years ago that it was a BMW, had a knob in the middle. So this BMW had a knob down there, and you could just rotate the knob and do different things. Rotate the knob, press the foot knob. Rotate the knob, press the knob. You have that on your left grip.
Yeah, it's like a computer.
You have a knob.
Pete had to show me all this stuff, man.
You've got a knob.
Because you have to go to classes to learn all this stuff, man. So yeah, you can go right, left,
you got his
up,
BMW
down,
operator's certification.
And it lets you do it while you're riding. It's trusting that you're not an idiot. Like, you got to do a few things on the fly there,
Yep.
But yeah, so it's
Triumph hasn't perfected that yet, because on my Steve McQueen, I can go through the screens and I'll be listening to music in my helmet. I'll be listening to music in my helmet, and I'll go through the screen that does the Bluetooth. So I'll be like, okay, do. When I go to I'm going to change the songs, right? And I don't want to reach up with my hand like a savage, right? So I'm going to just go through my little screens. And as soon as I go to the MP3, like the music screen, it shuts off. I don't know why, but my Senna and my Triumph motorcycle hate each other.
Right.
Because every time the Triumph motorcycle detects that the Senna's hooked up, it turns off the Senna. And I'm like, you fucker. And I've tried it every different way, but as soon as the Bluetooth in the motorcycle discovers the Bluetooth in the helmet, it just says, I don't care what you're doing. I don't care. Spotify, fuck it. Right. Doesn't matter. Just shuts it right off. So I need a Triumph tutorial.
Yeah, no, I mean, that's what, I'm reading the manual now. But you know what back, if you remember, in like 2016 or whatever, whenever I got the Super 10 ring, my whole life was thrown in havoc and stuff because I'd never had heated grips before.
Right.
And I was like, well, then I was never a human being. Now I'm civilized. Like, I have heated grips. Nothing is better than heated grips.
Heated grips is the sign of an elevated civilization.
Right?
Yeah.
Well, this bike has heated grips. Great. That's my comfort level I'm used to now.
Absolutely.
Right? But now this has added a new level.
Push button cruise control.
Oh, my fucking God. Electronic.
Yeah.
Not even just like locking the throttle. So it might add throttle when you go up a hill and down. Yeah. I can't go to another bike. Now I'm having this peasantry that's before this. Like, that is a whole new level of amazing, man. Like, I'm not used to this technology. My
Harley Davidson has cruise control. it's a screw.
Yeah.
It's literally a
Well, how about your
screw.
other one? It's an electronic one, but it just locks the throttle.
also
Which is
hilarious.
also scary as shit.
Right, but the one I'm riding today is literally a screw, like the old Honda CB750s.
Yeah.
It's just a throttle screw.
Right.
It's the dumbest thing ever.
But yeah, man, that on the way here, because like with Lindale right now and all those areas, they're hammering down.
Oh,
right?
yeah, they
and
are.
I always forget about it.
Yeah.
I'm like every time I'm like, fuck, cop. So like knowing that,
Yeah.
I just slapped it on 67.
Sure.
And then
Exactly.
like that was it,
Right.
man. It was like this is the game changer.
Yeah.
Here, man.
Oh, yeah.
I did enjoy that a lot.
Yeah.
That was cool.
It's a BMW though. You have white privilege now. They won't pull you over, man. It's a BMW. That's it. Yeah.
I was, as a joke, I was gonna go and get like, you know, a hat, a shirt, a scarf, and show up today, whatever.
No, that's fine.
That shit's like $100 a pop. They're very proud of their BMW gear.
No, you do not buy BMW apparel.
Yeah.
No way, man. And you know what the thing about the BMW apparel is? It's all black.
Yeah.
It has like one little BMW logo on it. It's like $400.
Yeah.
It's like, this is a black T-shirt. One little BMW logo.
It's a temperature climate controlled hat with microfiber designed by
Yes,
Climb.
but if you squeeze the little logo,
Yeah.
a black helicopter will come and pick you
That's
up.
true.
That's the roadside
I'll
assistance.
tell you, this is the most time and the closest I've put my face into a BMW.
Right.
And like those engineers don't miss a lot, man. Like
That's
when
it.
you look at the stuff, like you're like,
Yeah.
oh, that's cool, but then it's not just cool. It makes sense why it's doing that and like why this goes here
Yeah.
and stuff. Like it's pretty, even the way the plastic fits together and everything.
Well, I think what Pete was saying, like the idea that they all share like a computer system, like that idea of understanding the network motorcycle, right? The idea that there's an ECU, and that ECU can be changed to do all kinds of different things for all kinds of different vehicles.
But you know what though? So
Yeah.
far, like on there, well, I can't find the gas gauge. But besides that, I can't. We tried to put it on, but it still ain't showing up. So I'll get to that. So that might be a feature I got to figure out.
It hasn't shown you the gas gauge because you don't need it yet.
Well, yeah, right. So you just be in the middle of nowhere. And
Don't
it'll be like,
say.
feed
When
me.
you need the gas gauge, we will show you the gas gauge.
Yeah. But like all the things, like the windscreen, the way it moves up and down with the flick of a switch.
Yeah.
You know, everything, man. It's really cool. And so the dude gave me a box with this windscreen in it, brand new.
Yeah.
Right? And so I like a bigger windscreen on the highway, so I slapped it on.
Yeah,
Oh
it's
my
nice.
God. So like on the highway, they figured it out. You slap it up, the wind goes right over your face.
it's
like
perfect.
nothing, no buffeting. You're like, do. And then when you get to the city and you
Right.
don't need it, you flap it down, and now the wind's slapping you right just where it should, and you're perfect. Oh, and then with the thing up, even the small of the bike, I think it could rain and you wouldn't get wet. Like the way the fairings are and
Right.
throws the wind. Because like I'm sitting there, we're driving, it was like 80-some degrees, and I'm sweating my ass off in the jacket because there's no air hitting me.
Right.
It's just going around you the whole time. It's like, wow. So yeah, those engineers, man,
Well,
that's Germans.
Did you turn on the air conditioner?
No, I didn't pay that. It's a
You
monthly
didn't pay
fee.
that subscription yet.
That's a monthly fee. Wait, but I saw it has shift assist.
Yeah. So
What
that,
the fuck?
Well, again, yesterday I took it for a little rip.
Yeah.
Pre actually getting the plate legal. So I
Right.
wasn't going I was just going, I mean, to live in the country, so I went whatever. And I wasn't getting it. Like,
Right.
I was like, okay. So I'm like, okay, I don't use the clutch. Got that.
Right.
But then my brain would not let me not go boom. Like,
Right.
like
'Cause you're
whip it.
automatically rev matching.
Because like, in
Yeah,
on my
that
African
like
twin.
fucks it up if you do that.
Yeah.
It's
So like,
literally, yeah.
Well, that's what I was. So yesterday I was like, I hate this fucking thing. Like, what is this thing doing? Like, and so like, or I'd use the clutch, but then like I would hit my toe. Like, I guess I've learned to preload.
Of course.
The shifter, so you kind of like that. So when you preload it, then the fucking thing shifts.
It
and
just
it's all
shifts
fucking
instantly.
clunky, and it's like
Yeah.
fuck. So Pete comes over and he's like, well, you know how it works? I'm like, obviously no, because I suck at this. and so Pete's like, dude, you don't. What you do is you ride to you wide open, and you just fucking mash the stick. And he goes, the computer RPM matches everything. I'm like, what? So I finally go out there today, and I'm like, man, it was so hard to do. I had to like look at my hand and hold it so it wouldn't do it.
Yeah.
And then just boing, boing, boing. And when you do it that way, it's just like, oh,
Tap,
next
tap,
year,
tap,
next
tap,
year.
tap.
Yeah, it's like having the fucking
perfect.
Yeah. Dan has that on his bike too.
know.
Yeah.
Well,
That's a whole nother
bizarre.
new feature.
Yeah,
dude.
it's not good to get in the habit of using it all the time. You have other bikes, dude.
I know.
Well, right now he does.
Yeah.
Look, dumbest thing I did, I decided to lead a ride on a motorcycle I'd ridden 12 miles with a suspicious clutch, where neutral is at the top, and first, second, third, fourth, and fifth are all down.
Right.
And I'm making momentary split-second decisions because, fucked in traffic, right? Zippy-zappy, turn around real quick. I downshifted into fifth gear like 7 times. I just kept downshifting. I was like, oh, we're going slow. Just click, 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 click. And I was like, click, 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 click. And I was like, let the clutch out. And it's like, bleh. I'm like, fuck. And now I'm trying to click back up, but you can't click back up through 5 gears. No, you got to let the clutch out 4 times.
Yeah.
I was like, tag, 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 tag. And I was like, I hate this transmission so much. 5 miles away from Speak of the Devil, I was like, my brain had already figured out how I was going to remove or de-uniquify this fucking shifter. So it would be just a traditional fucking... I don't care if neutral's at the bottom. I don't need one below neutral. I can be Yamaha style. I can just be right on the bottom. It's cool. Mm-hmm. But I would be fucked if neutral's on the top.
Yeah.
That is it. I have
GP style, right?
It's GP style, but then if it was just GP style, that'd be okay. I've had that.
Yeah.
Because then first is on top. That's okay. But if neutral's on top, I'm going to come to the point of not enough velocity very frequently, which means I'm going to fall over. Right? Because then I would just be like, tack, tack, tack up, be in first gear. Now I'm tack, tack, tack up, let the clutch out, fall over. Can't do that. No. That's not how you ride a motorcycle. Yeah. So fuck that shit. I was like, if they would have put the shifter on the other side, that would be weird enough, like my British bikes, that my brain would be like, okay, yeah, the shifter's on the other side. I drive right-hand drive vehicles all the time. Right. My brain needs a lot of change. It doesn't need just one subtle change that just is going to put me in the wrong gear perpetually. Right. Fuck that bike's transmission. I don't know how Chris rode it for a year. I have no idea how he survived. Unless, well, that's probably it. No other bikes.
Yeah.
But I ride too many fucking bikes to have neutral at the top. Yeah, that's dumb. So, yeah, that was not great.
Yeah.
Everything else about the bike was fine, but fuck neutral at the top. That's some stupid shit. Now that you've got this bike, because it is kind of amazing.
It's kind of cool, yeah. I'm not mad at it.
I hear an Africa Twin.
Oh, no, I love my Africa Twin.
Oh, really?
I love my...
Okay, all right. So you're not going to load this up. You're going to keep the Africa Twin fully loaded.
Yeah. No, this is getting a top box. Because
how would he get to Starbucks?
You have to have a top box.
Yeah, because I just carry too much shit.
I agree.
But I got it was $130 for this rack that goes in it. It kind of stays with the body lines. It's hardly anything. And then what's kind of neat is the bike is kind of set up for a box because the tail light's already a foot and a half behind the bike.
Seriously, the motorcycle stops and then the tail light shows up.
Yeah. So all the younger kids, they have these. That's gone, and by the time they got it home, that shit was off.
The phrase, license plate eliminator, tail light eliminator, kit, whatever.
Right.
This bike is a fuck you to that entire industry because it's CAN bus. Right. So the second these guys are like, fuck that thing, I'm going to get rid of it. They just bricked their motorcycle. Yeah. Guess what, kids? It's CAN bus.
I don't know. I like the fact that the thing that stops heavy fucking vehicles from plummeting into you is out in the air, visible.
I'm a fan of back bumpers. I think the Europeans got it right. Make a back bumper, OEM, standard equipment, because I watch James Bond movies. That's a good thing to have back there.
Sure.
And having your taillight, an extra impact zone behind you, probably a good idea. Yeah, that's it.
It's high in the air,
Oh, yeah. People be like, damn, I nearly hit that bike, and know that you're still 2 feet to get to you.
That was one of the funniest things when I was putting the taillight on your Harley. So it has that Dixie thing, and it has this the tombstone taillight.
Yeah.
And even when it's working, and it has a good bulb in it.
Oh, no.
It's not exactly bright.
It's 3 candle power.
But then you look in the kit, and they were like, hey, if that taillight's too bright, here's the flame cover, so only 3 little squiggly flame things stick
They
out.
made a cover to make it darker.
Yeah.
They literally made a filter in case the taillight was too bright.
Yes.
Now, that's some Harley engineering right there. That is absolutely it.
That was good stuff.
Yeah.
So, but yeah, man, I'm pretty stoked. It was hard. It was really weird. It was I can't hate to say this, but at 53, I felt like I did one of my first real adult things. Like, you know what I mean? Like, I made myself sell the fast toy and get a different fast toy.
Hey, that's cool.
I'm looking at my garage at all my mini bikes, and then I see a real motorcycle, and I said, I made it.
Oh my, that's a very adult motorcycle.
Yeah.
But it is funny because that normally does accompany the letters BMW. Yeah. Because I did that, like, you know, I had a big gap where I didn't own any BMWs whatsoever, and then I got that R50. And when I got the R50, I was like, oh, look at me. I've got a very adult vintage motorcycle. This motorcycle is beyond contempt. Like, nobody hates this motorcycle.
Right.
It's a fucking R50 from, 1970. The whole world thinks this is a decent, fun, nice, cool motorcycle. Right. It's so respectable. Right? And it is the unhateable motorcycle. And BMW sometimes has that association with just being like, oh, nobody could have brought the original Mini. Okay. Austin, Innocenti, Morris, whoever one of you say, nobody could have brought the Mini back to life better than BMW. It is universally accepted. Yeah. And it's one of those things you're like, oh, it's a Mini, but it's a BMW. And I'm okay with that. You know, had it been somebody else, had Nissan brought the Mini back, no, can't have that. Right. Unacceptable. Had Subaru brought the Mini back, all-wheel drive, No, can't have that. BMW, yeah, I'll allow it. It's totally fine. It's cool.
So when you guys all rode it, did anybody like the seat?
I love the seat on that bike.
Yeah, I thought it was fine. Yeah, it was great. In fact, the best thing about it was I didn't even notice it, so it must be perfect.
Yeah.
Well, it doesn't look like much, but I fit right in it. I mean, it's like a tractor seat. You look at a tractor seat and you're like, that doesn't look comfortable.
I wish I had an extra half-inch back. I love the way.
Oh, you need a little more room?
I need 1/2 inch back.
Yeah.
But also, I wonder if it won't work in after a while.
No, yeah, give it a shot.
I mean? Pete, when you put miles on your bike, did your seat work in a little bit on your 850 or not?
I changed the seat pretty quickly.
Okay, on that one.
I actually have 3 seats for that bike, and one's more of an off-road seat, and one's more like a road-going seat. But I never use the stock seat.
The history that I have with various different motorcycle seats is, I believe in the Kevin Cameron rule that every motorcycle journalist ever produced will always be like, it's a fucking good motorcycle, man. But if I say it's a great motorcycle, I'm not going to be much of a motor journalist.
Totally make the seat bad.
That fucking seat sucks, right? And everybody goes, yeah, the seat sucks. And you're like, oh, but the seat's easy to change. Yeah. So you can fix that. So you didn't give somebody an F on their report card because the seat's something everybody's going to change anyway. So I'll bet you out in the aftermarket, there's about 9,000 of those seats for next to free.
So I started going on the forums just to see what guys had. But I mean, I guess I want to.
So get a next to free seat.
Yeah.
And get out the turkey knife.
Yeah, and just fuck.
And have at it.
Yeah. Well, I've done that on other
I know.
bikes. Yeah.
And that's the cheapest way to end up with a good seat.
I'm not doing any modifications except for the top box until I ride the thing for a while.
Right.
You know what I mean? Because it might be like my butt might not be used to it yet.
Right. That's true too.
It's not bad. It feels okay.
Yeah.
It's just that like it seems like it's like right there in your butt.
Yeah.
You're like,
yeah.
Move it back there, buddy. Like.
Yeah. I promise you, I've been riding Chris's bike, his drifter. And I've been riding that, and it's funny because I'm not ashamed to admit it. I absolutely love my Road King. Like, I love my police seat. I like the big Springer saddle on there. The cop saddle works great for me. I'm a tall person. It works great. I love the ride of it. I love the way it feels. The drifter feels like the Road King, but it took an easy day, right? It's an on-off day. The Road King, you ride the Road King, it takes a lot of effort. There's a lot going on. You have to think about things. It's heavier than it needs to be. Right? Yeah, it is. It's heavier than it needs to be.
It's a big bike.
Right? And there's a lot of weight to move around. You have to use a lot more braking energy. And you have to, you understand. It's like driving a truck with a trailer behind it, right? You got to think a little more, right? You don't just wait till the last second. Mm-mm. But on Chris's bike, the riding position is almost exactly the same. Springer saddle kind of thing. Hand position is the same. But it's as though the Harley lost 5,000 pounds. Right? It's impossible that weight difference can exist between the Harley Road King and the Drifter 800.
Well, you know what I noticed?
But it does.
Looking at the frames.
Yeah.
Like you'll look at like any Japanese bike and there's actual metal tubes and you can actually see a tube, right?
Right.
On the Harley, I looked in and it looked like the top of a pipe wrench.
It is
like
a
this
pipe
solid
wrench. All of it.
Right, like iron.
Right. It's giant iron castings.
That conversation
It's
I
what
had,
they build boats out of.
That conversation I had about Harleys feeling heavy.
Yeah.
And you're like, no, it actually weighs a lot less. This is what I'm talking about.
Yeah. Well, yes, when you're pushing out, but that trick, Sportsters are easy to push around, no big deal, unless they have flat tires. They all have flat tires. But but I was like going back and forth between Chris's bike and the Road King because this is the thing I want to do, and I was going like, okay, Road King, all the things. Okay, get off the Road King, fuck that, and jump on Chris's bike. It's like it's totally different. Like Chris's bike needs one more gear. Mm. It needs one more gear and 18 more horsepower, right? And then it would be perfect. But the way it is now, it's pretty fucking perfect. And I'm riding an 800cc Kawasaki 5-speed versus riding a 1700cc American 6-speed.
Right.
But it is absolutely, his vehicle is at 70%. The Harley's at 93%.
Right.
And that's the feeling I have. Riding his bike around is like, oh yeah, woohoo, this is great. Check it out. I'm a cruiser, but I don't have to act like a cruiser, right? And you take a step back and you look at his bike and it's like, fuck, that looks good. And you don't care whose name is on the gas tank or whatever.
You expected to say Indian.
Oh, of course you do. Because it out Indians most Indians. It's done it. Yeah. I've taken to calling it the imposter. Yeah.
Chris, did they sell a kit like with an Indian head or anything?
They did, well, a lot of guys will put the heads on. They'll paint Indian on the tank and crap like that, which is stupid.
Yeah. It is, but it's kind of, I mean, like it looks so much like it, man. It's like,
well, the other thing too is that your Harley's got bags on the back and stuff like that, and it's
the Drifter, you can't take a sandwich.
Yeah.
It has negative storage.
Yeah.
And those fenders were plastic.
Right. Exactly.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Oh, I thought they were metal.
They look metal.
Yeah, they really do.
Oh no, it is. It is an imposter.
Wow.
And if you saw the way Kawasaki Vulcan 800s look that haven't been hit with the Drifter wand, well, sorry about your motorcycle, but you'll be on parole soon, and you'll be able to go out and ride it again. It is such like a Harley poser bike, or such a look at me, I wish I was a lowrider, just like a Shadow or whatever else. You can't even tell a V-Star from a Drifter, a V-Star from a Vulcan, from a Shadow.
There's a reason when I had my V-Star 1100 when I was trying to take a break from wheelies.
Yeah.
And I said, well, this can't wheelie, and it looks like a couch.
Right.
So then I joined the V-Star Club of America.
Yeah.
And like you got to wonder about a club that most of the guys debadge their bikes.
Right.
And so they're
absolutely.
like, wait a minute, I thought you're proud of being in this club.
No.
You're Captain Yamaha, but you made yours look like a Harley.
Well, and the funniest thing was the V-Star, the branding of the idea of V-Star, because prior to that, those were all Viragos.
Right.
So Yamaha had a perfectly serviceable name that actually is a good name. The Virago is a very cool name. It's a name out of nature. It's a name that starts with a V. You have a V-twin motorcycle. Yamaha's a great brand, right? It had everything going for it. And I was one of the guys that I was like, what's this V-Star shit? And they're like, oh, it's what we're doing now. They're not going to be Yamaha Viragos anymore.
Star.
Now they're just going to be V-Stars. And I was like, oh, that's stupid. And then they're like, no, wait, it gets better. Star.
Yep.
And I was like, because they made some that weren't Vs. So
but
they started.
If you want just a mediocre, kind of boring bike that'll ride for like 200 million miles, the V-Stars, even the 1100s and stuff, you can't kill those things, man.
I have two words for you. Roadliner, Streetliner.
Yeah.
Two of the greatest motorcycles I've ever ridden.
Right.
And honestly, will out Harley any Harley ever Harley'd. They have it all. Yamaha even went, okay, fuck it, we'll separate the motor and transmission.
Winter, spring, even in the fall.
Yeah. Yamaha went, fuck you, we'll even separate the motor from the transmission.
Right.
We'll be that dumb. We can go all the way back to the Stone Ages if we need to. Right. Push rods, see you there, right? They took away all the technology from their amazing Yamaha motorcycles, and they went straight fucking caveman with it. And I've owned them. They're pretty fucking good. They are pretty fucking good.
Dude, on the way here today, I had a Cybertruck to the left of me and a brand new
I saw
Goldwing.
one in the wild.
Me too.
You saw one in the wild? Yeah.
And a brand new Goldwing to the right. Like temporary tag, it was flat black.
Oh, yeah?
And it looked kind of good.
They do look kind of good.
But yeah, how weird was that? I'm like, I'm driving my new bike, and then there's like a...
I swear to God, people were chasing that Cybertruck. They were like, Cybertruck went by in the passing lane, and I was at passing speeds. But I like hug the right hand and do that little weave. So
nobody,
But he went by, and then there was like another car, and then another car. They were like, oh.
They were all taking pictures for Instagram.
Well, that is a completely useless tail or trunk.
I'd like to put something into the side of my pickup truck, but you can't. Right.
I mean,
you can throw it over the side.
It's totally, what is it? OCP is the cops. It is totally RoboCop's.
It is RoboCop.
Truck.
So there was one that pulled up to Dunkin' Donuts across from the shop, and Renee and I were trying to close shop last night or whatever, and we're trying to push bikes in, And this Cybertruck pulls up, and you can tell it's a Cybertruck because it doesn't have any hubcaps. Because the hubcaps were because the hubcaps
they immediately fall off.
Were cutting into the tires.
Yeah.
So they had to do a hubcap delete because the hubcaps were cutting into its own tires. But it's okay because at certain speeds, the stainless steel panels
just fall off.
That are glued onto the regular mild steel tub
I thought it was composite. Like there's
come off.
Yeah, I thought it was composite too.
It's built like a Samsung fridge.
Yeah,
it really freezes up whenever you look at it.
The stainless steel is just adhesive to it. Yeah. Oh, that's fucked. So Renee's like, I want to go across and look at it. I was like, I'll fire you. And she was like, what? And I was like, don't do that. Why not? I'm like, don't feed that. Do not feed into that. Do not feed into the Foundation Series bullshit. Because I will admit it, I put a $100 deposit down. And then when they were like, oh, by the way, the $46,000 truck that you wanted, I don't think we're going to make the $46,000 thing happen. And then the next correspondence I got from them was skip to the front of the line, take a Foundation Series for $96,000 for the exact same specifications of the truck that I ordered for $46,000. So you've raised the price of the truck $50,000 so I could skip to the front of the line.
Yeah.
No. And so now, if you have the truck, that means you did pay the extra $40,000.
Oh, yeah.
And the extra $10,000 closing costs when you get there.
If
so you're at 106.
If not more, because the cheapest I've seen one on the not supposed to be selling this.
The secondary markets have come down. There's one up there right now for 121.
Yeah.
So there's one up there listed for 121. I have lost my interest.
Hey, look, people bought Edsels.
Yeah.
Now, having seen it side by side with the Rivian,
right?
I'll tell you this:
right,
Cybertruck's dog shit.
Well,
the Rivian's nice.
I'll
take the Edsel.
I would too. Yeah, at this point, and at this point too, it's been tainted, and I say that in the most offensive way possible.
Yeah.
Because the only people that own it are assholes.
Yeah.
So you have to find somebody that went, I was going to order it, I was going to pay 46, but I've decided to pay 106. Well, you're an asshole, right? You're just an asshole. And
the whole thing happened with the Bronco.
Right.
Like, oh, look, you can get a Bronco base for $29,000.
And just like the Cybertruck,
add the
panels fly off.
Sasquatch get package for $5,000. You can get a $34,000 really cool thing. No,
sign me
no
up.
one has ever bought one or got one for that price.
And it just, I just can't. And now it's at the point where the influencer crowd is like, well, I was gonna buy it for $56,000, but when they told me I could be the first kid on my block if I ponied up an extra $50,000, being first on YouTube means an extra 3 million views, And so that 3 million views is going to pay for that difference between the 56 I was going to pay and the 106 I'm paying now.
That's why they're all doing dumb shit. The one kid, I fucking love it. He wrapped it with a Toyota Tundra. So like the side of it looks like a Toyota Tundra. And the thing goes
Well,
down.
Hoovie's not having such a good time with his.
No.
Yeah. He's hating his pretty hard right now. He's like, well, it is rusting.
Well, who's the guy?
And,
Was it you were telling me about the
these things
guys that were shooting guns at it?
They're shooting various different guns at it. Yeah. They're trying to. Their whole idea is if we shoot guns at this, people are going to give us likes and subscriptions.
And they had the Ridge wallet. And they were shooting that too. Yeah.
And you know what's funny is, I have the calculator on my computer that says how many views you get equals how many dollars you get, and none of these guys are breaking even yet.
Yeah.
So the only person winning in this is Tesla, because they found a way to say, oh, being first at something is worth an extra $50,000.
Oh,
Yeah.
And
crazy.
that's skip. Well, I will buy the fast pass at Cedar Point, but I
Buy
will
the fast
not.
pass on Touch Tunes when it's an extra 50 cents.
exactly.
You're hitting me where I live there, right? That's it. Yeah. But I will not. I will not buy the fast pass when it's $50K, and that's just it.
Oh, I should have taken better photo because I actually got to ride the Hyperloop too. While I was in Vegas.
Yeah, I did. Yeah.
I have a little tiny video of it. I should have taken a whole shot of it.
Well, it's just very silly. The whole thing's very
Isn't
silly.
it just a car driving in a hole?
It literally
It is
is
a car driving in a
It's the
hole.
reason why California does not have high-speed rail.
When we did the AIM Expo, the Hyperloop thing, it was the most convenient way to get from the
convention
Resorts
center's
World where we
big,
were
yeah.
to the convention center. And you'd walk across the street, go down a tunnel, boom, you're at the Hyperloop. And I was like, this is going to be great, the Hyperloop. And you're like, the Boring Company, they made big holes in the earth. It's going to be great.
Yep.
And I'm going to jump in a car, and the car is going to take us, whoosh, to our destination. And I jumped in the car, 4-door
Yep, I got to ride in
thing,
next.
got in, and there's a human in the front seat. I thought, well, that's rather superfluous. Considering the car does this hundreds of times a day, this is the perfect scenario. There's no cross traffic. There's no kids running out in front of you.
They're also
Yet
not
they
L4.
still have to have a human being standing in the front driving this fucking thing.
They're not level 4.
Well, my friend, we hit the sidewall. We hit the curbing on the side of this thing like 17 times. And I was like, I got 3 other motorcycle industry people in the car with me. And air conditioning's great. It's cool. We're underground. It is the place to be in Vegas, by the way. But we keep bouncing off of the curbing violently. And I said, isn't the idea behind a self-driving car that it fucking don't do that? And he goes, well, you have to fight it constantly. He built the car.
Yeah.
Check. He built the hole. Check. He knew how wide the car was, right? Check. He knew how wide to make the hole. Check. This bitch shouldn't hit the side of anything ever, man. Like, I've been to Jogga Lake and we didn't hit the side as much as we hit.
Well, let me
this
ask
thing.
you this.
Yeah.
If you were going to design a vehicle to drive in a tunnel like that, I don't care how many computers you have, wouldn't you just put wheels on the side so that it would just run against the fucking tunnel and then just...
When you're at the amusement park and you're riding the old-timey cars with the 5-horsepower engines in them, and it's going tick, 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 and you just leave your hands off the wheel,
It goes around
it
the
was
track.
better than this experience
Right,
was.
that's what I'm saying.
Right.
They just
That-
need fucking side wheels on that bitch.
No.
No, you need a piece of metal about this big with 2 rollers that controls your
Exactly.
your McPherson you're driving.
Yeah.
So
Well,
wherever that metal goes, the car just follows.
All I know is there was a human being in the car fighting the car.
And the entire point of this thing is marketing to sell the car as it won't run into the fucking wall.
or put it on
Like
rails.
literally, I know somebody whose job it is literally to make sure that car doesn't hit the big giant truck doesn't hit the fucking wall.
We got out of the stupid car and we looked at the sides of the tires, and the tires were shredded. The tires and wheels were fucked. They were fucked. And I was like, this is not a better solution. No. This is not how you win.
You guys, how fast were you guys going?
In the Hyperloop?
Yeah.
38
35,
tops.
38.
Right.
Yeah.
So like I thought the big proposal was like 100 cars 4 inches
yeah.
apart going 80 miles an hour.
Oh, no.
This
It's
fucker
100 cars waiting in line.
When I think of Hyperloop, I'm imagining like the thing you put your checks in at the bank where it's like
Exactly.
It would be a series of pneumatic tubes.
Phil. Your F-150 because of lane assist lane
Jetsons.
could have done it better.
I know.
there was no earth shaking kaboom.
No, it was really, really bad. It was a terrible experience. And if that I get it. I've been following that project from the beginning.
Mm-hmm.
The idea was supposed to be like Tylenol capsule shaped vehicles that could fit like 12 or 16 people at a time.
Elon Musk's suppositories.
Yes, no driver needed. You get in and it whisks you away, and you're right. They're nose to tail, nose to tail, nose to tail. So they're drafting and creating a vortex of air that sucks them along. They got the sucks part right. Yeah. They just suck.
Our car couldn't catch up to the car in front of it. Was the really bad part.
It's so fucking weird. And the worst thing is you're like, there's so much Las Vegas hype about it. Yeah. So there's these escalators that go down out of several properties to the Hyperloop station. Yeah. And you're like, cool, we're going to go have an alternative way to get from point A to point B. But then you have to take such a circuitous route to get down to where the Hyperloop station is. By the time you get there, you've walked a half mile anyway. Yeah. And you're like, well, I've got 10,000 steps. I could have been at the goddamn convention center already. Yeah. And then where it drops you off at the convention center is not at nearly the most convenient point of the convention center. I thought for sure it was going to be a loop. Oh, wait. Did I say that? A loop, like a Hyperloop. Mm-hmm. I thought it was going to be a loop. That was going to be like, what hall in the convention center are you going to? Because Las Vegas Convention Center is the size of a city. Yeah. I'm going to Hall C. Great. Get in the car, and then at C, a door opens, and you're at the escalator to go up into Hall C. Yeah. No, you get off at Hall Omega Delta Zeta, and then you have to walk 76 miles to go to where you're going. This is some bullshit.
So you're saying the Hyperloop was neither hyper nor a loop?
Well, there's a lot of
hype. No, it was neither hyper nor a loop. You're right. You're right. It was, yeah. Yeah, it was like the not-so-hyper dodecahedron. It didn't go anywhere you wanted to go, and if you rolled anything less than a 12, you had to wait in line. Yeah.
So what you're saying is, Elon Musk has produced a flamethrower that was basically a blacktop heater made into a plastic thing.
Yes. Yeah.
He's produced a Hyperloop that doesn't work, a Cybertruck that falls apart and doesn't really do with trucks.
Genius of our age,
and made it into a shitstorm. Like,
I don't know.
Hey, but he's a genius.
Hey, those rockets are still going up.
I will say the rockets are doing great. The rocket that can land on its own asshole is pretty amazing.
Yeah. If you want to see, this made me believe that our future is okay. Yeah. There's this 20-year-old kid. He works for Free Fly, who's a guy who makes drones. In the aerial system. But he, with a Raspberry Pi and some other shit, made a model rocket that will fucking land. And it's sick. And it took him like 2 years of engineering, development, 3D printing, trying all this stuff. And he finally did it. And like the video is so cute because it's like 7 times that day he keeps trying. And it would like almost get there and then would fall over. And he'd be like, ah. And so finally.
Yeah, but Elon was doing that in real time with real rockets.
No, I know, but this
with real money.
Well, Elon wasn't. All the engineers he hired and the brains and stuff that actually did it. Right. This kid is.
Elon's operatives.
This kid is this kid. Right. Like there ain't nobody else involved in this. And he wrote the code, programmed it, everything, and this fucking thing landed by itself, just like Elon's thing.
That's it.
And I'm just like, man, this kid's 17.
Don't put my truck in reverse and open the door. Fucking do not do that. Do not open the door so you can look to make sure you're still on the tarmac. Don't do that, because it's gonna fuck you up. Yeah. It is gonna safety you to death. Yeah. Now I'm doing this thing where I have the VersaHaul. I have the thing hanging on the back of my truck.
Oh, yeah.
So I have the thing hanging on the back of my truck so I can carry an extra bike out there. Because I'm busy. I got to pick up and deliver bikes and shit. So every time I put my truck in reverse now, I go 1 foot and the truck panic stops. 1 foot. I go 1 foot and it goes, and it locks them. And I mean, it snatches my neck. If I'm looking over my shoulder, it snatches my neck because my truck goes, you're about to hit some shit. And I'm like, so I turned that off. And I keep having to turn that off and turn that off and turn that off. But the shit I'm about to hit is perpetually with me, right? And I'm like, I'm going to have to put a piece of tape over my camera because when it locks, it literally locks all 4 brakes. Yep. Mm-hmm. And the solution is not power through it, because I've tried that. It doesn't like that. No. It doesn't like that. You have to put it in neutral, press the dashboard bypass thing, and then put it in reverse again, and then it just screams at you, there's an object in your rearview mirror, there's an object in your cameras kind of thing. And I'm like, Jesus fucking Christ. It has made this no fun whatsoever.
So like there's no way to permanently shut it off?
No.
Oh, I did forget one thing that's fucking pretty funny. So towing that trailer.
Yes.
It's so smooth and you forget that it's there. So I'm like jamming to this tune. It's like 5.5 hours into my trip. The sun is setting down like this. And like I casually checked traffic in my rearview mirror, and my heart sank, and I'm like, oh fuck,
because you're about to be overtaken by a red motorcycle with no rider.
This guy is killing me. Like he's hitting me. There's no way this guy's not hitting me right now. And like I almost slammed on the brakes, but I'm like, that's not what you do. And like this all happened within 1 second, and then it hit me. I'm like, oh yeah, I'm towing that bike.
Every time I would bring a car back from the East Coast on a U-Haul trailer, a transpo, every time. I get real tired.
Yep.
And I get real tired. I've been driving since 3 a.m, and I'm like, so to start to doze off, check the rearview mirror. Ah, the fuck! And I'm like, oh, that's my car. I bought that.
So when I went out west the first time with Tiger on that trailer, it's blue and the sun would flash off the fairing. So I'd go, fuck, police.
Reds and blues.
Man.
Blues and twos are on my ass.
But man, a good trailer makes a trip fucking completely different, man. It's like you're just so confident. Like you don't think. Like once you see that fucking bike doesn't wiggle, I'm just driving.
And a bad trailer is a whole other experience.
Yeah. Or a bad trailer in Detroit on 75. That'll ruin your life.
Yeah,
man.
I had a customer the other day come and pick up a bike, and when I strapped the bike in, the whole trailer bent. So a guy shows up. And he's like, can you give me some help here? Because, I don't know about this trailer thing. I brought straps. And I was like, I looked at his straps and I was like, those straps don't count.
Yeah.
We're going to get my straps. I have straps because I have boxes of straps from leftover. Like every time you buy a Moto Guzzi, you get 4 straps for free. So I was like, okay, cool. And so he wheels he pulls the trailer into my parking lot. I'm like, oh, fucking hell. Like, what a shit show. And, the rule on trailers is, the wood should be ornamental.
Right.
The wood shouldn't be load bearing.
No.
Like it's not supposed to be, Little House on the Prairie trailer, right? Where the metal axle is held to the wood.
Oh yeah, that's not
right.
Good.
That's not a great sign.
A structural member.
Yeah, right. Like wood should never be a structural member in a motor vehicle, and that means Morgans too, right? Termites shouldn't ruin your car. Or your trailer. And so he's like, okay. I was like, this isn't the trailer you brought the bike here on. He goes, no, I had a U-Haul for that. And I said, $26. Why didn't you throw down $26 again? Oh, because, the U-Haul people are assholes and they wanted my trailer lights to work and everything. And okay, yeah, I've been there. I know the feeling.
Darn those safety Nazis.
I know the feeling of showing up at U-Haul and getting denied at U-Haul because my trailer lights didn't work because my plug wasn't good. I got denied one time at U-Haul picking up a U-Haul trailer in a U-Haul truck because their trailer hookup shit didn't work. Had to go to a different U-Haul. But I'm like, fuck, man. So he wheels the bike up. Okay, good enough. No problem. No wheel chock in the front to speak of. Nothing. No way to keep that front wheel isolated. And I'm just fucking stupid this thing is. So he's got one board going across the front of it that's a 1x4. And I roll the bike into that and I'm like, okay, all right. Fuck it. Do side stand, do column lock left. Okay, column lock left. Let's try to get an angle so we can get across as many boards as we can. Let's try to spread our weight across as many boards as humanly possible. I put the tie-down straps on it. I broke 2 boards.
That's not good.
And I'm just like, dude, you got to go get another trailer. U-Haul is right there. But if you want to, you can burn this trailer next door at the place because you probably get a good bunch of spectators, but you should probably burn this trailer. Yeah. And he goes, no, it'll be fine. It'll be fine. I did 2 straps for him. Like I said, I broke 2 boards. I found 2 other boards. I was strapping it in, and I literally was looking at the situation. I took a step back, and I was like, no, fuck that. Fuck that. Fuck that. I'm not putting my DNA anywhere in this shit show. This is all you. I threw a dozen disposable tie-down straps. I threw a dozen disposable tie-down straps in the back of the trailer, and I was like, your circus, your monkeys, I'm out. And he goes, well, you don't have to be a dick about it. And I was like, no, I'm not being a dick. I just was shocked into reality. When I think about the bike that I just spent all these hours working on, making it right, doing everything we could to make it cool, and then it's going to fucking jump off this trailer, or the whole trailer's going to implode at some point, and then you're going to be pissed at me because I'm the asshole that tied it in. Fuck vicarious liability. I'm out. This is your problem. I've just donated you 12 fucking tie-down straps that are better than the bungee cords you brought. So I'm out. And so I went back into the shop and I'm doing my stuff, and he comes back in and he goes, so Renee lets him in and he goes, what's up his ass? Like that. And she goes, well, you know, people push his buttons all day long and he's just trying to run a shop and just do his thing. And it took every ounce of my willpower to not just go out and just fucking go up one side of him and down the other. Yeah. And he goes, well, can he come out and look at this and make sure it's okay?
Absolutely, Matt.
And I popped my head up from my desk where I was doing something really important, and I just said, no. And he came back and he goes, well, but how about if you just kind of, and I said, no.
Right.
But, you know, it's the least you could do. I spent a lot of money here. And I said, I've told you no 4 times. I pity any woman you've ever been with. Uh-oh. And he goes, what do you mean by that? And I said, no means no. Yeah. No means no. And he goes, well, I just thought I would be treated better than this. I said, well, next time, show up better prepared. I was like, man, you cannot bring me into your failure. Do not try to make me a satellite participant in your failure. Your failure is yours. It's yours. You own it. Do not, when somebody tells you no, I have a bit of advice for you. Thank them and walk away. Do not try to convince motherfuckers who've told you no.
You can tell it's fucking springtime in motorcycle.
Oh man!
Well, this brings up a thing, because this is a perfect. You're more experienced than I am, by far, in this entire thing, running a business.
Okay, all right,
motorcycles. Yeah. We'll just go with this.
Yeah, okay.
Now, but in my experience,
not going to fight you on that.
In my experience as a mechanic, when someone solicits advice, and you give them advice, give them very good advice,
right?
And they refuse to take it.
Right.
That's on them.
Yeah.
So if you're listening and your mechanic says, don't do this, this is fucking stupid.
Right.
Your mechanic is giving you free advice, which would normally cost you $120 plus an hour.
Yeah.
You have just gotten free advice. Yeah. Don't do this. It's fucking stupid. And your advice is, well, I just paid a lot of money for that fucking trailer. If that trailer's bullshit, go next door and buy one for $25.
He didn't even complain about the trailer. He complained about the money he paid us to work his bike.
No, he complained about the amount of money he was putting on the back of that shitty ass trailer.
Oh my god, man! It's just one of those. It's just one of those things,
what
man.
What kind of a bike was it?
I don't want to get into it.
Yeah.
Oh no.
Yeah.
Okay, how about this?
It's a motorcycle.
Okay.
Yeah, it's a G400C.
Well, you didn't have to say that, but that.
Yeah, it's okay. Right.
But it was a brand new bike. It was a brand new bike. Fall off the back of a shitty trailer.
It was the freshest bike that he's ever owned.
Good bike.
Yep, it was the freshest bike.
But literally, when the shop owner
he got home and kicked a turn signal off and wanted me to do a warranty claim for it.
How did he kick a turn? Getting on the bike?
Getting on the bike.
Oh my god.
Yep. Yeah.
He said that he examined it after he broke it off and he could see that it had a stress fracture, so it was going to go anyway. That's why we should give him another one.
Load it back on the trailer, bring it in.
Yeah.
I think that's probably the best advice, Chris. You still got that trailer, right?
You still got that trailer?
If you still got that trailer.
The amount of time I know I've wasted giving people very good free advice and they've gone, I'm not going to do that. That sounds stupid. I'm like, you know what? Go with God.
Okay. Yeah, that's it, man. That's it. Sorry.
God.
Sorry. That's it. That's all I can do for you. That idea, though, tell him to bring it back on the trailer.
Oh, that's
fucking genius. That's the best idea. That is the perfect answer. Yeah, I'll be happy to do a warranty claim on that $18 turn signal for you. Just bring her back in. Yeah, just bring her back in. We do get a number of people who do want me to fix bikes in their driveway this year. Mm-hmm. Shocking number of people that want me to perform surgery in their driveway. And I don't know where that's coming from. I do not know. I mean, I'm not a person that knows anything about having a very expensive car or something, but like, you know, I just don't imagine that Harley Davidson
mechanic.
Is Harley Davidson going to show up in your driveway and do a 3-hole oil change in your driveway? Because I'm pretty sure they won't.
Well, there's I've seen in Europe there are the guys that will do that. They
Yeah.
show up in a van and you
Right.
pull your bike in a van. And
Yeah.
you know what? If anybody isn't listening,
Yeah, but they have free healthcare too. So let's just
Exactly.
not fucking get into the world of
I had a
fantasy world
friend
there too. Yeah.
When I was racing bicycles and I helped this company do their whole like video stuff and everything.
Yeah.
He introduced me to another guy that I did videos for called VeloFix, and that's exactly what they are for bikes.
Right.
So VeloFix goes and you call them up, they show up, they
Yeah.
throw your bike in the thing and stuff. So I mean, I'm sure.
How do they handle their hazmat?
What do you mean by hazmat?
You know, all the oils that
exactly.
come out of the motorcycle.
They have a catch can in the truck.
Okay. Because there's a lot of oil that comes out of motorcycles.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
And I'm not prepared to be in Chris Smith's driveway changing the oil in his, Harley Davidson or whatnot and having to be dealing with off-site oil management.
Well, I mean, like,
Yeah.
so at Summit, we got a tank.
Yeah.
It looks, I mean, it looks like a small hot water heater.
Mm-hmm.
And then it just has a hole with the scoop at the top. And that's when you change oil in the trucks. You do it. And we could do, like,
Yeah.
I don't know, 30 trucks
Yeah.
before you'd have to, dump the thing. And then
Right.
you just take that whole thing and
Right.
take it to a recycling place.
Yeah, because the idea of me doing services in somebody's driveway is terrifying.
I
Yeah.
did that 25 years ago. I will never do it again.
Yeah, it's fucking
I worked out
terrifying.
the back of my truck.
Yeah, I just don't like the idea of it. Like the whole idea of like I'm going to come into your driveway.
Right.
No.
And then then like you dig in, you got to do something really deep, and then you find that the one part that's almost fucking impossible, and then what do?
Right.
Hey,
Put
hey,
it
those
back
two-
together.
Hey, the two headlights aren't coming on my bike. I put them under the seat. Oh, your bike doesn't start.
Yeah,
Oh, now I'm inside of it.
Now we're literally in the middle of your bike right now, and that's it. I just don't want to do it. Plus, I also don't. The whole idea about service departments is that it keeps the customer away from the mechanic. Yep. The last thing I don't want to do is surgically attach the mechanic to the customer
Right.
to the point where you're in their fucking driveway, and you could be like, "I have a right to some privacy." The hell you do? You're in my driveway. I'm literally paying for a show right now. Yeah.
Oh, all the questions.
When you show up to work on my bike, can you bring a pizza?
Yeah.
And a sixer of beer because I'd like to make this a special evening.
Hey, what you doing? Hey, what's that? Hey, what is that?
I think on that one you should be using a right-handed torque wrench.
Right.
Yeah.
When I left the shop in New Orleans, we had this big window, so you could see into the back, so you could see everybody working on your bike.
I would be nothing but pressed hands.
When I back this past time, they had covered the window.
yeah.
It was perfect
Of course they did. Absolutely.
because they knew.
Oh, I'd be like taking my shirt off because I'm like, oh, I'm sweaty.
Oh, yeah.
I'll take my shirt off and put my tits on the glass. Anything to just be offensive to people.
All your coveralls have the ass
They
cheeks
did-
cut out.
Oh, fuck it.
They did adopt your lock the door and keep everybody outside plan too.
The ClevelandMoto plan.
Oh yeah,
Yeah, that's a
that
good
was
idea.
the way to go.
That's the way to go. That's going to save a small business.
Oh, yeah.
That's going to be the way. Anybody else got anything fun or exciting?
Mac,
Yeah, Michael Fresh is like, yeah, all right, I'm back. I'm back. Sorry.
Anything new or funner?
Anything funny or
I ride
exciting?
my quad runner every day. I like that.
You have been?
Well, every day after work, I take it for a tootle.
That's pretty cool.
No, which one? Is this the 125, the 250? What is it?
That's the TRX 300.
300. That's it. Yeah.
I got a little trail. I go down the hill, down along the creek, back around, do a little this, do
How
that.
agricultural of you.
Some hot laps.
Yeah. I saw somebody posted a link to that forklift today.
I did.
Oh.
$1,700.
I was like, come on,
cherry,
man.
man.
And it was sold. It sold quick. But I'm like, yeah, you know what? That's one thing I don't have at the shop is a forklift. I could use a forklift. I'd make room for a forklift.
It can sit outside. Who cares?
We had a forklift when we moved into that building. The paint company that was in there had abandoned a forklift, and they'd abandoned it until the point where I'd taken ownership of it, and then they magically came and picked it up. But we used that fucking forklift when we moved in for all kinds of cool things, like putting up all the pallet shelving and everything. Forklifts are handy.
I loved having them. I had them.
Hofford has a huge forklift. It's
wow.
a 30-foot. I mean, it's a 3-stage forklift.
Whoa! Yeah.
off-road. I don't think it has double wheels in the front.
Right.
Dang.
Big, you can. I mean,
Somehow that strikes me as kind of fitting.
we were trying
I
to get
just
around.
want to have one at his shop to get the bikes off the back of the truck,
That was
right?
the perfect side. It was just,
Yeah.
and it was propane.
Yeah.
Never have to worry about gasoline
Nothing.
going bad or anything.
We had an ancient Toyota that I had managed to
Yeah.
total loss ignition system on it.
Fine.
It worked perfect.
I will say though that forklift you'd sent pictures of was like a perfect warehouse flat ground forklift,
Yeah.
and our driveway is pretty aggressive.
Yeah, I was wondering.
And I was like, might have to take that at a very 3/4 angle or call a concrete company to come and fix my fucking driveway. That sounds expensive. But how my $1,400 forklift cost me $10,000 in concrete work.
Well, you know, the guys, I see them at Summit sometimes, the guys that haul ass and go around the turns, they have like outriggers for their forklifts to keep them from like really flipping.
Really?
Oh, yeah. Dude, those things at Summit are fucking crazy.
Yeah.
So like the one studio we shoot at, I have to walk through the warehouse.
Yeah.
And it's like...
It's dangerous.
It's fucking crazy, dude. Like, it's like, you cannot not pay attention.
Yeah.
And the dudes are beeping the whole time, whatever. But what's crazy is these things will go 50 feet in the fucking air. Like, these dudes, the operators sit there and the bass is here, and this thing's like, what?
Oh, so they're like super high booms.
Dude, and they go in and they pick the boxes and they pull them this way and they come back down. They're all lassoed in. But occasionally, and this allegedly might have happened. I don't know if it's true or not. But what I'm saying is, I've seen some of these dudes drive these fuckers when they're 30 feet in the air. And that is fucking crazy. Like,
that is
sitting
not
there
good.
and like you see the dude move forward, and I'm like, I don't think he's supposed to be doing that. No. I'm going to go in the other direction.
Yeah,
and
that's not
be
good.
Here.
I need to be outside of the radius of implantation.
Yeah.
That's a bad
first
scene.
time I saw those things, I was like, there's no fucking way I could do that job.
Yeah.
I'm glad I'm a videographer and not that guy, because like I could not do that, man.
That's
Freaky.
because you're not.
Chris was at the shop
you're
the
not
other day.
forklift certified.
No.
Chris was at the shop the other day, and he got to see one of our motorcycles that came in, one of our bikes that came in the crate.
Yeah.
And you know, pallets have very clear places in the pallet where the forks are supposed to go.
Oh, yeah.
It's pretty fucking obvious where the forks are supposed to go.
Little garages.
Literally, little wooden garages, right? Perfectly clear where the forks are supposed to go. That bike that I showed you when you came in, it had been forked.
Oh, yeah.
But it had been forked about 8 inches above where the little perfect garages are. It's like one of those, when you see the magician stabbing the knives in the box with the girls in it, and you're just like, how is that not hitting her?
That's what my Buscadero was like. The cage was bent in. You could tell tines had gone through it, but somehow missed everything that was, didn't break anything.
All the Bibles.
Yeah.
Oh my fucking God. We've had like 3 bikes this year that were proper fucked when we opened the box. Whoever's working at these, forklift certified.
So does that go to, so like when you're there,
they fight over it.
But you're like, I'm not accepting this.
Can't do that.
Oh, you can't?
Yeah. So here's the way they got this now. This is pretty cool. These manufacturers, Yeah. If you refuse a shipment, you will pay for the shipment both ways. No, I'm not going to do that. Fine. You won't get any more shipments. Well, I need those shipments to run my business. Great. Then if you refuse the shipment, you'll pay for the shipment both ways.
But what about, the thing is damaged.
Clearly.
So they want you,
They want you to become the steward of the damaged piece of shit and then justify to them how damaged it was with no shortage of pictures and arrows and suggestions and statements and sworn affidavits from both you, the photos you took while the truck driver was standing there, make the truck driver pose with the crate, right? And hopefully if his truck needs to be in the background, so that the manufacturer, can go after the trucking company. Now, sometimes the outside of the crate is pristine, so you know that the bike wasn't damaged by the trucking company. Yet you open the crate up, and the bike is rat-fucked inside, which means the people over in Europe said, fuck it, ship it.
right.
It's Friday. The Chianti's waiting. Andiamo, right? Mm-hmm. And we know that because the outside of the box is in perfect condition,
right.
Yet the inside of the bike is fucked.
Like the bag, you still has a little blow at the top.
As though somebody opened the crate, hit it with hammers, and then closed the crate again, which we know doesn't happen that often, right? But even then, when it's clearly a pre-shipping problem, they're going to go after the shipping company.
But I did notice, though, when I was prepping bikes for you, how all it takes is like the one side, like if the bottom bracket of that cage gets bent up and hits and comes in contact with the cheek of a Vespa and pushes it up 1/8 of an inch.
Right. It's all fucked.
It's fucked.
What they want you to do is they want you to become the claims adjuster, right? Because they're not going to get insurance involved. They're going to get you involved. So now you're going to take the photographs, and then you're going to have to write a battle damage estimate of what it's going to cost to fix it. And then we usually multiply that by 23, right? And then we take that and we submit that to them and say, okay, this is what it's going to take to fix it. And then we play this game of like, blind man poker, right? You're just kind of like, okay, I'm going to say that in my 30-year history of doing this, that damage on that vehicle is going to cost, Magic 8 Ball says $2,300. And then somebody back at the home office goes, that's ridiculous. We're only going to send you a check for 15. And you're going to go, I need at least 1,900. And they go, we're going to send you a check for 18. And then you're like, I need 1,850. And they go, okay, we're going to send you a check for 1,850. And then you take the scratch and dent bike and you put it on the floor and you go, $1,000 discount. And that's it.
Yeah.
Because you don't actually try to fix it.
Right.
Because if you take it to a body shop, the guy at the body shop's going to go, that's $2,300 worth of damage. And you're going to play the game with that asshole now. So it's just better to be like, okay, take what you can get, make a scratch and dent special out of it, reduce the price, find somebody that wants the bike and loves a discount.
There's dudes out there that are commuters that don't give a shit about a
Well,
couple
also,
scratches.
Put a hula skirt on it and put coconut tits on it.
exactly, right. Well, here's the last one that came in gefucked. We played that game. We negotiated the discount. We did whatever we had to do to compensate for the damage that was rendered to the vehicle. The person that came in and bought the bike, they were looking at all these other bikes like, hey, man, can I get a discount? Can I get a discount? Get a discount? I was like, yeah, get a fucking great discount if you buy this one over here. And take it to Paintless Dent Repair, and they'll fix it all up and whatever. And then you'll pay for it instead of me paying for it, and the job is done anyway. Cool. Everybody's happy. So there you go. Guy gets the bike, calls back in 2 hours, crashed it. Well, how happy is he that he didn't buy a perfect bike because he crashed it on the side that was dinged up anyway?
Right. Perfect.
Perfect. I'll bet you his insurance company is going to fix it.
Right.
But you just took it back. You refunded his money back. To
Surely.
Yeah.
Right. Well, hey, what the hell?
That's what you do.
It was clearly
Send it home.
my fault. Yeah.
Send it home on a wooden trailer.
Ship it. Just fucking
Just
ship it.
send it.
Even
Park it out by your garbage can with the keys in it.
Oh my God. Still, there's only been 2 Vespas stolen in our time at the shop. 2. One lady left her keys in it at Sokolowski's. She went into Sokolowski's, came out 1 Vespa shy. Keys were in it. A year and a half later, a guy brought a bike in. I don't know why it won't start. I got the keys and everything. Guy sold it to me on Craigslist for $1,200. You didn't think something was weird when you got a $7,000 Vespa for $1,200 with no miles on it? Well, it's a Vespa. It doesn't need a title or anything. Oh, okay.
Is that what he told you?
Yeah. And I was like, so that's cool. We called the police. The police showed up. The guy's like, no, man, let me show you on Craigslist. The listing, the whole deal. This is where I bought it. The guy was very cooperative. He did buy that bike off of the guy who stole it. He's still charged with receiving stolen property at that point. But he helped a lot with, sending the cops to where he got it. But, yeah, I called the insurance company and everything. I was like, hey, guess what? It's back. It's here. The whole anti-theft device that Vespa puts in the things actually worked, and nobody could ever start it. So the guys who stole it never got it started. They couldn't do shit with it, so they stuck it in the garage and hid it for a while, and eventually thought things had cooled off, found somebody who bought it on a Facebook listing that said, just needs a tune-up.
Yeah.
Battery's dead or whatever. And somebody bought it for $1,200, but it was stolen. The second one, the guy literally said, I said, I'll come and pick your bike up for service. Cool. That's great. I'll leave it out for you.
Oh, no.
He left it out for me at the end of his driveway.
With the key in it?
With a key in it.
Oh.
On
You
trash
could do
day.
service right in the driveway.
Trash day.
On trash day.
Oh, no.
So all the pickers
Yep.
Oh, that was-
are out driving around, and they're like, hey, look at broken sled. All right, whatever. Pick it up. Do-do-do-do-do. Oh, old lawn equipment. Pick it up. That's a fucking Vespa. Pick it up. And it did. Gone. Never saw it again. You leave the bike at the end of your driveway.
Yeah, that's not.
And by the way, I have a thing. I'm like, yeah, leave the bike by your garage or in the back, hiding by the gas grill. Hide your bike. And then put the keys somewhere else and just tell me where you're hiding the keys. And I'll pick the bike up like a thief in the night. It'll be gone. And I showed up the guy's driveway. And I show, hey, man, you told me to come pick your bike up. Where's your fucking bike? And he's like, no, you're pulling my leg, right? And I'm like, no, I'm not fucking pulling your leg. Where's your fucking bike? He goes, no. I said, yeah, big white house, red barn, whole deal, right here. Power pole, mailbox, a couple of trash cans. He goes, the bike's not there? I said, no, the bike's not fucking there. Where'd you put the keys? Well, they were in the bike. You put a bike with keys at the end of your driveway on trash day.
You threw it away.
You threw away a motorcycle.
No, that's terrible.
I'm telling you what. My
in Lakewood,
my sympathy meter was having trouble that day.
If my mower runs out of gas when I'm doing my tree run,
don't you dare.
No.
I haul that fucker right up close to my house before I walk, and then I run back and get the garbage can and come back and get it.
You want to know what's weird, though? In Shane's neighborhood, in Dustin's neighborhood, where we used to do the podcast, the 45s, they can leave children's bicycles and lawnmowers on the front lawn there, and they won't get stolen.
I apparently stole my Piper's friend's neighbor's bike because it was on the tree lawn in Cleveland, and I thought it was being thrown away.
Of course.
And then I came back, and then Mike was like, yeah, way to go. You stole the neighbor's bike. I'm like, well, I'm keeping it.
I went to Shane's house to pick up one of my cars at 1 a.m. or something, whatever was convenient. And I go out there, and his lawnmower's in the front yard. And this is suburbs. This is tight. And there's a couple of kids' bikes and a really nice Bianchi, like a really nice bicycle out in the front yard. And so I'm going to grab the keys, and I'm like, what the fuck, man? And so I'm heading back, and Shane pops out, and he's like, hey, you want a beer? And I'm like, yeah, talk to me. If I leave anything in front of my house 18 blocks from here, is gone, right? If I've had the propane tank stolen from my gas grill behind my house, it's gone. I've had people go into my shed and take my lawnmower out of my shed. It's gone. You have $900 worth of bicycles out here and a neighborhood that's overflowing with children, and you have a lawnmower out there that I know works. He goes, honor among thieves. What? He goes, think about it. If you have something stolen in this city, in this town, where are you going to go look for it? The 45s. I live in the 45s. I said, so you guys just don't steal from each other? He goes, no, we steal from you guys. He goes, where do you think all those bicycles came from?
Yeah, right.
And I'm like, you mother... But I drove around his neighborhood, and it's fucking true. There's all these bicycles roaming around. Nobody's got them. And when I was a kid growing up, bicycles, backyard, in the garage, chained up, whatever. None of that shit. Dad saw your bike in the front yard. He'd steal it just to fuck with you. Philip, where's your bike? I don't know. Oh, I wonder where your bike is. That's too bad. That's too bad. I wonder how you're going to get another bike. Work really hard to buy another bike. And then after you bought another bike with your newspaper money, then he'd give you your bike back that you left out in the front yard. That was an important life lesson.
Yeah.
And then I had 2 bikes. Yeah. That's it. Anybody got anything else? Fuck it, man. Negatory?
I think we're good.
Remember, we're getting ready for band camp. Anybody's going to band camp.
Yeah.
How many weeks?
The theme is Blazing Saddles, June 13th.
Yeah.
June 13th.
Yeah, it's
the theme is Blazing Saddles. Mm-hmm. You have a lot to work with.
I'm only going to see Oscar and Robbie Love.
That's a good reason to go.
Robbie's not going.
Oh, is he not?
Well, that was the conversation. Oh, were you on that thread?
Oh, he's going to Disney? Yeah, he's going to Disney against his will. Yeah, he's going to Disney against his will. Too. I thought he was going to... No, I think he was going to Disneyland during DGR.
Is that what's going on?
I think it was.
Oh, okay. So
I think I
was worried about that
because I think he was even talking about riding down.
Okay.
To band camp
with Sean.
Yep, exactly.
He's going to Universal Studios.
Oh yeah.
During band camp. He was at Disney during
those
DGR.
2 brain cells.
Really?
I bet. Yeah.
Oh, you're making that up. Yeah. I was gonna be like, no way, man. Because I know he was going. I know he was going to Disney against his fucking will.
Oh yeah.
I know he was not happy about going to Disney. He is not. He's not part of the magical kingdom. No, he's his personal history has no reason he does not want to be at Disney. Yeah, that's it. All right,
here, John.
That's it, man. Everybody remember?
Play us out of here, John.
Ride fast, Take chances. Play us out here, Johnny.
Bum 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 bum
Take chances until the speed of a coming fear crushes my fast. Take chances. Ride fast, take chances. Ride fast, take chances. Ride fast.